On his debut, Jarno Uppbeat wins at Spa.
It's Martinez in Montreal. David beats Goliath.
It's a true underdog story. John Evans wins at Mexico.
And it's Super Sam Corby who takes the PlayStation Championship.
FRA Ronhard takes his first WOR Championship. He is your Xbox champion.
And Jake Burnham is a two-time WOR champion.
Dobbin around the outside operated line. Shadow is contact again. Ronhard is around.
Melanie, surely is going to win here at Abu Dhabi. He does.
16 races across 5 continents. From Brazil to Belgium and Bahrain to Britain. Soon this story starts. Across 3 platforms, hundreds will begin the quest in search of glory and the right to be called a WOR champion. Lights out, and we're racing in Season 12. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to round number 4 of the WOR season here on PC. I'm Ginger Andy, and joining me once again tonight, we've got Dan Field as we head to the Red Bull Ring in Austria for the 4th round of the season. Well, Dan, last week it was all about Thomas Ronhard. What a performance from him. He was hunted down by Jake Burnham in the closing laps at Sochi, but he really did lay down a marker with a very strong performance, put it on pole, and then went on to take a brilliant victory, didn't he?
Absolutely fantastic performance from Thomas Ronhard last week, and it's a real pleasure to watch him out at that Red Bull Ring. That's where we're headed tonight, at the Sochi Autodrome. Of course, credits to Jake Burnham as well, trying to catch him right into the very end, but it was Thomas Ronhard coming out on top, and hopefully we can see another strong performance from the Dutchman tonight.
Yeah, it was a really good performance. It was a coming-of-age moment for Thomas Ronhard. Really, really strong stuff. Jake Burnham hunted him down all the way, but couldn't quite catch him. And, well, the championship standings are looking very, very interesting now. And I think we should probably take a quick look at them before we get going here. And we have a new championship leader, and it's Nicolas Longuet, the Frenchman, on 40 points, leading the standings. 4 points further back, Shinaka Clay on 36, Danny Beresnay on 25, and now Thomas Ronhard, of course, with that race victory also on 25. Josh Adowo on 23, and 5th place in the standings, Alvaro Caraton on 19, and then a duo on 18, Sam Corby and Jake Burnham, with Stachulek and Luke Smith both on 16. Early days in the championship, Dan. It's still taking shape, really, isn't it, at this early stage? But it's good to see quite a few drivers in contention and nobody able to pull away just yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Still very tight-knit throughout the order, especially in that around 5th position. You know, you got Alvaro Caraton, Sam Corby, Jake Burnham, all within 1 point of each other, then other drivers right behind them as well. So it is all still very close in this championship, but it is Nicolas Longuet, the Frenchman, with a podium last time out. And he's gonna be looking to have another strong performance. His main rival, Shinaka Clay, caught early on his stream that this is one of his worst circuits, as he would used to say. So we'll see what it is for him.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting night for Shinaka Clay on a track he doesn't like, but it is a track in general that the fans enjoy, Dan, isn't it? Very, very short layout, one of the shortest on the calendar, and, you know, a lot of uphill climbs and downhill swoops. It's a track with a lot of character, and most importantly, a lot of overtaking opportunities, particularly up at the top of the hill into turn 3, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. That is one of the most iconic corners around this circuit. I believe it's called Remus, and it was at the site of a bit of controversy. If you remember, in PSGL, it was not the prettiest sight for the two Mercedes drivers, but maybe we'll see some more drama down there today.
Yeah, speaking of not the prettiest sight, I think we should go into the race. Not a very pretty sight. That is very damp conditions for this qualifying session. It is absolutely bucketing down, and once again, Dan, the rain has arrived on WOR's parade, and I think it was only last week really in Sochi we never got any rain at all, but we've had plenty of rain here at the start of qualifying for the Austrian Grand Prix, and this is going to be very interesting for the drivers, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's bucketing it down at the Red Bull Ring. I'm not seeing any activity at the pit lane, so maybe drivers are waiting for it to clear up or something. But this is probably the heaviest we've seen all season long so far. Of course, we had dabbles of rain in Imola and Belgium, none at Russia last week. But I don't think we've seen conditions quite like this, where the rain is so torrential, no one even wants to be out on circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. Chucking it down. And we'll have to wait and see if we will get any laps. But of course, remember, if you're just joining us, folks, or you're new to WOR, Q1, Q2, Q3 is the format in this league, just like it is in the top tier over in PSGL as well. For Q1, bottom 5 knocked out, so 20th to 16th. Q2, 15th to 11th get knocked out, and then the top 10 have a shootout to get into the final part of qualifying and fight for pole position. But we have our first cars out on track, and it's the two Alpines that are pretty keen to make their way out there. So that is Tomek Perazis heading out onto the track first, and he's joined out there nice and early on by Jeffrey Ritchie as we get an early idea of the track conditions. But it does look to me, Dan, that it is going to be intermediate tyres for the opening few moments of the session. And going by the fact that nobody rushed out the garage, I think the conditions can only get better from here, not worse, because if they were going to get worse, they would all have poured out onto the track, wouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. On the intermediate tyres, that still does look like a gamble, given how wet the conditions are seeming to be looking, especially on the onboard shots with Tomek Perazis. It is really heavy rain, and there is it's actually really nice to see a completely wet circuit. You get to see gleaming reflections out of the water there, so it is lovely to see. But as the drivers get runs in, there will be a drier line form, so surely you want to be sending your laps at the end of the session.
Yep, here we go then, 15 minutes to left in this Q1 session as Tomek Perazis rounds the final corner and gets us underway for a lap around the Red Bull Ring and begins that uphill climb towards turn 1. Not the longest run off the start line to the first corner, so you won't see much overtaking maybe into that first corner in terms of getting the jump off the line against the guy alongside you on that front row, but certainly plenty of opportunity to slipstream up the hill through turn 2, which isn't really much of a corner in a Formula 1 car, and then into turn 3. I mean, the only reason it is actually named as a corner is because in MotoGP the race here, and it is very much a corner for the motorbikes going through that second turn, as Tomek Perazis is now going into the middle part of the lap. Again, another part of the circuit where overtakes can be made at the top of the hill at turn 4, and then sweeping down into the middle part of the lap. And this is definitely the most technical area of the racetrack, no doubt about it, as Perazis heads down the hill. And it looks like it's really tricky out there on those intermediate tyres as he just gets himself into a rhythm, into a groove. And we'll get to see what the first lap time on the board will be from the Polish driver as he makes his way now into the final couple of corners in that Alpine car. One turn to go, and we'll get an idea of what the reference point is as Perazis comes across the line now and delivers a 1 minute 11.548, the first time on the board, and he beats his teammate Jeffrey Ritchie by 0.3 of a second.
Absolutely, the two Alpines being the first two drivers to get out on circuit. I believe Piotr Stahelek is on a run at the moment. He's looking quite competitive in his Ferrari car, the Polish driver, just coming through the final sector now, down towards the final two corners. A double right-hander, really easy to invalidate if you go too wide through both parts of this corner, as Primoz Miklavčić splits the Alpines. He goes second position, but Piotr Stahelek out the final corner. Where's he going to go in his Ferrari? And he's just going to edge out Tomek Perazis by about 0.03 of a second, so really impressive stuff from the Ferrari driver. But more are on runs at the moment. I think Sam Corby's next is Luke Smith. Wow, he blows Piotr Stahelek out the water within 11.3.
Yeah, Luke Smith in fine form at the minute, and he delivers another superb lap time. Here's Thomas Ronhard, he's another man in fine form as he showed last week in Sochi. He comes up to the line now. What can he do? He can go quickest of all, a 1:11.313, and both Ronhard and Luke Smith in the top tier in the world of league racing recently have really started to make a name for themselves, and there they are, 1 and 2, as Perazis on his second lap beats them both, and he beats them by quite a margin, a 10.5, goes clear at the top of the order. Perazis, second lap, second sighter, a little bit of a reference on the delta, and it shows up with an extra 10.5. Good lap.
Absolutely, you'll see drivers put in multiple laps on the same set of the intermediate tyre. Alvaro Caraton has just come through the final sector now in his Williams. Got his teammate of McLavchich just in front, but he invalidated on his run. So here comes Alvaro Caraton across the line. Can he go ahead of Paragic? He goes 5th position. And I believe Ronhar's just improved to 4th. That was actually Stahlet going 3rd. About 5 thousandths ahead of the McLaren car. So tight margins already in this qualifying session as Luke Smith, he's the first driver to dip his toes into the 1 minute 10s with a 0.9 there. 11 minutes to go left in this qualifying, and it's looking white hot at the moment.
Yeah, early days. First man in the 110s, as you say. Luke Smith with the time. Yes, John Evans is out there in the Red Bull at the minute. What's he doing through the middle sector? Ronhar now pounds in another 1 minute 10. Those two looking very strong at this early stage of qualifying. Ronhar and Smith really going like the clappers, as we can now see John Evans making his way into the final couple of corners now. What can he do? Can he get anywhere near the 1 minute 10s we've seen from Ronhar and Paragic? Remember, this is only his first run, and he comes up to the line now, and it's a very solid opening lap from him. A 1 minute 10.9, and John Evans goes 4th as Nicholas Longue now dips the time even further. 1:10.6, so the track conditions steadily beginning to improve, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. More drivers on runs. Barry Burnham making his WOR debut in the final 2 corners, and he's just there. Turn number 10. He goes 2nd position, just ahead of his teammate Thomas Ronhar. 2-3 from McLaren in Q1. Really impressive stuff. Janaka Clay is going to be the next one to cross the line in. Here's Aston Martin. No DRS down the main straight, of course, in the wet conditions. And Janaka Clay goes behind behind Tomek Paragic, but not by much. So only a few hundredths off. And one thing to note, Thomas Ronhar and Paragic have a gap of 1,000th between them.
Yeah, nothing, absolutely nothing between those two. As we keep an eye on Simon Vagang here, but he's on his way back to the pits. What about Liam Parnell? Yes, he is on a lap in the 2nd Red Bull. We've seen John Evans pump in a 1 minute 10.9. What can Liam Parnell do then as he makes his way towards the end of the lap, as we've got 15 times on the board with 10 minutes to go in this qualifying session? Still to see one from either Mercedes of Jake Burnham and Tom Martinez, as Liam Parnell now makes his way around the final corner and heads up to the line. What can he do? It's a 1 minute 11.4, and now we can switch to the Mercedes cars of Tom Martinez. First of all, they're both on out laps, both Mercedes, so we'll wait and see when they can cross the line. We're still waiting on a time from Jack West, but he's in the final corner now. So let's see what he can do as Barry Burnham dips into the 1 minute 10.5s now by a fraction as West crosses the line and goes 9th quickest on a 1:10.9. So lap times now for 17 cars, just both Mercedes and the pad man Louis Welch to post the time.
Absolutely, Shinaka Clay goes ahead of Barry Burnham. The 2 Mercedes now on laps at the moment. It's Tom Martinez ahead of Jake Burnham. Tom Martinez just going down in towards turn number 4 of Schloss Gold. Got no one else really in front of him, no company out on track, unless Liam Parnell might be on a run, but I'm not too sure, as he's coming off in towards turn number 5 is Tom Martinez, and it's really tricky through here, but you can see a slight dry line beginning to form where all the drivers have been putting in their runs, so it's a bit of a makeshift racing line, but it is going to be helpful at the very least for Martinez on his run, as I am seeing the rain is beginning to clear up ever so slightly. We'll see how that affects these drivers coming into the latter parts of this session. Is now out through turn number 10, the final corner for Tom Martinez. We'll see what he can do. No DRS down the main straight and across the line. What's it going to be for Martinez? That's on the bubble. Only P15. His teammate Jake Burnham, I'm not too sure, is on a hot lap at the moment.
Yeah, so Jake Burnham not on a hot lap, so a bit of pressure for him with 8 minutes to go as Martinez only manages to go 15. Who else we got out there? I think Nicholas Longue is out there. No, he's not on a lap. It was the other Alpha that was on one. Is it Luke Smith? Yes, it is Luke Smith. Here he is, and he's going very quickly indeed as Shinaka Clay is top of the timing screens. This might be about to be beaten. It nearly was by Luke Smith, a 1 minute 10.578. But Luke Smith looking very, very strong at the minute. Of course, denied a first win at Monaco in PSGL last week by a pit lane exit infringement, and that was heartbreak for him. But he looks like he's bouncing back strongly in the league racing scene, and he's not letting it get to him whatsoever, Dan, is he?
Yeah, absolutely. He had accusations thrown at him by a number of users on Twitter, but it's really great to see that he is continuing his run of good form. As John Evans, right at the moment, he's 4 tenths up on his previous best this could see him into the 1 minute 10.3s. He's got a slight toe from Tom Martinez, not going to have much effect in the wet weather, but here comes John Evans across the line, and indeed it is a 1 minute 10.396, and that is going to be very competitive, very tough to beat from the Englishman.
Yeah, good lap there from John Evans. I hope he's not cheating. Only kidding, John. Only kidding. As Jake Burnham then is 19th at the minute, makes his way up towards the final couple of corners. And what can he do then as he makes his way around that final turn now, takes a little bit of curb and now heads towards the line. His first lap of the session is only enough to go 12th quickest, so a 1 minute 10.8 from Jake Burnham, the man who was second last week in Russia, can only go 12. So the bottom 5 at the minute, it's Primoz Miklavšić, it is Tom Martinez, Jonas Ozildrum, we've not seen much of him yet, Stachulek and Louis Welsh, who's not completed a lap time just yet. How is Ozildrum getting on? Is he out there at the minute? Currently out there going through the first sector and starting a flying lap. So he's currently in trouble. We'll pick him up later on. Let's see if we can pick someone else up in the final corner. What about Nicholas Longue? He's in the final corner right now and he's at 10th up in his previous best. This could be quick. It is quick. It's enough to go 7th. Well, he stays 7th. He actually invalidated the lap, I think, because it said he did a 1:10.4 on the right-hand side, so he must have invalidated it, and he only manages 7th quickest, does Nicholas Longue. Is Jake Burnham going any quicker on a second run? Yes, he is, by 0.2 of a second. So, what can he do? Is Jack West now goes quickest for Ferrari? Where did that come from? Jack West, by 2,000, goes quickest of all year in qualifying. Jake Burnham then, into the final corner, down in unlucky 13th. What can he do as he comes up to the line? Can he go quickest of all? No, he can go 4th with a 1 minute 10.5. Decent effort from him. What about Jonas Ozildrum? We've not seen much of him. He's currently the slowest of the times we've seen set so far. Ozildrum, up to the line he comes, and he goes 12th quickest. But boy, oh boy, it's very, very close, Dan, isn't it?
Absolutely. He's Jonas Ozildrum knocking Sam Corby into the bottom 5. Interesting to see Simon Weigang also in the drop zone at the moment, but he is currently on a run at the moment. He's just behind an Alfa Romeo of Nicholas Longue as well, so both these drivers about to complete their runs. Longue out the final corner now, and we'll see what the Frenchman can do. He goes to the top of the order. What about Weigang as he crosses the line? Can he top Longue? No, he goes 10th quickest ahead of Rune Pedreño. Not the safest time in the world, but how about that from Longue, dethroning Jack West of the provisional pole time with a 1 minute 10.276. 5 minutes to go left in this session. The bottom 5, Liam Parnell, Sam Corby, Primoz Miklavšić, Tom Martinez and Louis Welch. We've not seen him out on circuit at the moment.
Barry Burnham going second quickest then with a 1 minute 10.361. We still wait for Louis Welch, as you say. Who we got in the final corner now? Is it Tom Martinez? No, he's coming into the pit lane. No, it's Jake Burnham, I think it was, that was coming into the pits as Louis Welch finally makes his way out onto the racetrack. Jonas Ozildrum trying once again to go quicker, and he will go quicker. He goes 5th, a 1 minute 10.4. It's taking him his time to get up to speed, but he is now. Ronhar slowly slipped down to the bubble in 15th. He'll now bring himself back off that and go 7th quickest. So Ronhar up to 7th, Parnell into the drop zone. And there's now 3 drivers in the pits, in the drop zone. Parnell, Corby and Martinez, and Miklavšić and Welsh have not done a lap time yet. So they all need to get out there and get on a quick lap pretty quickly indeed. Shinaka Clay making his way out onto the track as well at the minute, as Weigang had just crossed the line moments ago. Now look who else we got out there. Ronhar on another lap. Is Barry Burman on another lap going quickly? He is up by 1,000th of a second on his previous best. So let's see what Burman can do. The Iranian driver into the final corner he goes. As you touched on earlier, a WOR debut for him tonight, up to the line, and he stays second quickest, but did find time, did improve, but not enough to displace Nicholas Longue.
And his teammate Thomas Ronhar currently up on a lap at the moment by 2,000. So these are both these McLaren drivers cutting it very fine with their improvements in the second sector. But we'll see what Ronhar can do. He's just coming through turns number 9 and 10 now. Out of Mobile corner. A little bit of a slide on the power. Could have lost him some time, but Thomas Ronhar up to the line, jumps Tomek Parajic, who's just ahead of him on the track actually. But that is actually probably going to be safe for Thomas Ronhar. I'm trying to think where the drop zone will be. Where are you going to be cut off from the pack? And I'm just not too sure at the moment, Andy.
Yeah, it's difficult to see as Miklavšić crosses the line now, but he's not completed a quick lap. Louis Welch, we're still waiting on him to do a proper lap time. What is he doing? A 49.1. through the middle sector. It's difficult to call this. Where is the cut-off time going to be? You would feel it's going to be somewhere around a 1 minute 10.5. But there's a few drivers that need to find a lot of time for it to be near there. Louis Welch then into the final corner. Getting the best of the conditions now that it's starting to dry out. And here he comes to the line. What can Louis Welch do? It's only a 1 minute 10.8, and it's not enough to lift him out of the bottom 5, Dan.
That's worrying for Louis Welch there. Tom Martinez is on a run at the moment. One of the drivers in the bottom 5, and he is a 10th up through the first sector. He just needs to find 2 tenths, or actually 3 tenths, to be ahead of Louis Welch and out of the bottom 5. But I'd imagine you want to be a few tenths clear of 16th position just to feel safe at the end of the session, as most drivers are either on slow laps or on an out lap at the moment, or indeed in the pit lane. It's coming through the second sector now. Tom Martinez has got everything riding on this. If he doesn't improve on this time, he'll be out of qualifying. But he found 4 tenths through this sector. So Tom Martinez trying to secure his spot in the next part of qualifying. Got a clear road up in front of him. Just 2 corners to go. Turn number 9, the first fast right-hander in 6th gear, and down into the braking zone of turn number 10. Martinez now off the exit of the final corner to save himself in qualifying. Can he go quicker? He goes 14th. That's not safe, I'd imagine.
No, he's in a bit of trouble. Louis Welch going again, but he's backed out of the lap. What about Sam Corby? He's starting a fresh one now. Where is McClavsich? He's not on a quick one either. I think he's in trouble of getting knocked out. Where is Jeffrey Ritchie? He's only on an out lap at the minute. So all eyes at the minute on these bottom 5, but Tom Martinez has managed to squeeze out of there for the minute. There's nobody out there at the minute on a particularly quick lap. What about Parnell? Yes, he is. Okay, Parnell nearly 2 tenths up, and he's going quickly as Ron Har goes up into 3rd position now. But here comes Liam Parnell. Can he get himself out of the bottom 5 and knock the likes of Stachulek into the bottom 5? Parnell into the final corner now. Needs to do a minimum of a 1 minute 10.7. Parnell to the line. Does do a 10.7 and goes up to 15th and just about knocks Stachulek into trouble. Good lap from him. Corby's bailed out. Louis Welch is on another quick lap. Where is McClavsich? He's going slowly. Where is Stachulek? Here he is, 2 tenths up, and Stachulek at the minute is going to knock Liam Parnell right back out of qualifying. Can he get the Ferrari out to the bottom 5? Louis Welch is also out there, but not going quickly, but we need to go to Stachulek. Let's keep an eye on it then. Final corner for Stachulek. Can he get himself into Q2? He should, giving those 2 sectors he's done so far, and he does go up into 12, and he just gets over the line before the checkered flag. Parnell going again. Jeffrey Ritchie is going again. Sam Corby is out there going again, as is McClavsich. Who will we pick up? I think we better pick up Tom Martinez. He's in trouble here. He's been knocked out of qualifying. Louis Welch is in 15th place. Martinez is out. Who else is out there at the minute? I think Parnell is on one again. He's currently 17th, Dan. Let's see what he can do.
Slightly down on his previous best by only 7 thousandths. He found improvement in the final sector. He could see himself into Q2. It's not enough. He's 16th position and out of qualifying. Martinez up on his previous best. He's got an AlphaTauri of, I think, Sam Corby just in front of him. So they're all going to be coming up to the line now. The clock has struck 0. No one else can set a lap. Miklavčić has backed out. So it's all right on Martinez and Corby to improve on their previous best. Here comes Corby up to the line. 19th at the moment. Where can he see himself? Only 17th. Martinez to the line. I don't think it was enough. He was invalid.
Yeah, didn't work out. He is out. Jeffrey Ritchie in amongst all that squeezed himself through right at the very end, and that means that he's through. Both AlphaTauris are out, as is Liam Parnell. Tom Martinez for the 2nd race in a row, and Primoz Miklavčić also out with a poor lap, a 1:11.0. Didn't really get going at all for him. But everyone else very, very close. Tom Martinez 1 minute 10.7 in 19th, and Stachulek up in 13th on a 1:10.5, just 2 tenths covering that group of cars. It wasn't quite a 1:10.5 that would see you through. A 1:10.6 was just enough for Jeffrey Ritchie, who made it through. Sad times for Louis Welch, Sam Corby, Liam Parnell, Tom Martinez and Primoz Miklavčić. They all bow out of qualifying, and what a section it was. Lap after lap we saw, Dan, and we like that in the wet conditions. We get to see them put a bit more fuel in the car and go for more laps, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely, and it just kept on improving throughout the session. The initial times we were seeing with the mid 1:11s I believe Parajic was the first driver to set a lap, and then he ended qualifying on top of the 10.2. I think at the end of the session, it completely dried out, so it was really interesting how the circuit improved. But a cruel defeat for Louis Welch, Sam Corby, Parnell, Martinez and McLavchich to all go out in Q1, but they are going to have another shot in the race.
Yep, there they are, the bottom 5. You can see them on your screen now. Louis Welch, Sam Corby, Liam Parnell, Tom Martinez and Primoz Michalčić, the Slovenian driver, bottom of the pile, and he's out here in this part of qualifying. And I wonder if the weather will improve going into the second part of qualifying. The wet conditions playing havoc with the drivers there. Started to dry up a little bit, but didn't dry up as much as I maybe thought it would as the driver started to go out there. Louis Welch left it really late before he did his lap. Do you think he'll be regretting leaving it that late and maybe should have gave himself a little bit more time to get used to the conditions out there?
I think you can never complain with more running time in a session. I think Louis Welch, he left it way too late. Within the last 5 minutes in qualifying was when he actually came out on circuit, when other drivers had already gotten used to the track in those conditions. So Louis Welch really shot himself in the foot there, but he can improve later on in the race. It's a good way to think of it, of being nothing to lose, all to gain, if you're starting in that bottom 5, and also you get to use the alternate strategy. So it's not all doom and gloom for the drivers out in Q1. But they won't be taking part in Q2, which I believe has just begun, Andy. It
has just begun, and in typical WOR fashion, we've got some dry conditions now for the drivers, and the first man out in those dry conditions is Julas Ozjerdrum. So in between the break, between sessions, the track has dried somewhat, and as you can see on the camera there of Julas Ozjerdrum, there were still a few spots of dampness, so the track is only just drying out now, but it is obviously dry enough for the slick tyres, and I'm sure we'll see lap times ramping up pretty quickly indeed as the Turkish driver heads out there on an out lap, and he'll be looking for another really strong qualifying. I've got to say, I find Julas to be a very strong qualifier at times, Dan, but I just think he struggles to put the whole weekend together and doesn't quite have the race he's looking for every weekend. I think that's got to be the target for him, to try and complete the weekend, have a good qualifying and a strong race as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Slight bit of rain, actually. Slight bit of rain on the lens of that Haas car. I think it is raining on circuit. And Ozildrum, I think, he's coming into the pit lane. So he's not feeling the dry conditions. He might have been able to go for a slick lap there, but it is beginning to rain at the start of Q2 into the pit lane for a very brief period on circuit. But we'll see what the plan is for Ozildrum. I imagine no one's going to be out on circuit in Q2 given these mixed conditions, but I'd imagine that we're going to see some intermediate running.
Oh, that's very strange because the track looked relatively dry, didn't it, for Julas Ozjerdrum out there? He wasn't sliding too much, but given the fact that everyone's sitting in the pits, it does look like we might see some inters. I'm just reading the timing ladder there, and I'm sure you guys can see it at home. Thomas Ronhaar's actually bolted a set of inters on. He's now taking them straight back off in the garage, but very interesting to see that half lap, or attempted half lap, or installation lap, whatever you want to call it, there from Julas, but he's gone straight back into the pits, and I think that gives me an ideal opportunity to say to everyone, thanks for joining us, and hope that you're enjoying what you see here at WOR every week, and if you're new, be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, because myself and Dan will be here most Sunday nights from 7 PM UK time, giving you some top league racing from some of the best drivers on the Formula 1 game. So be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and enjoy all the action here in WOR. But 12 minutes to go in this qualifying session, and Dan, yes, very strange, not one person considering going out there apart from Julas for that one installation lap. So I'm not too sure what's going on here. Is it dry? Is it wet? What tyres should the cars be on?
I think they'll probably wait it out for the soft stint, but I'm a bit confused as to what's actually going on at the moment. I thought it was raining, but I'd imagine that's going to be clearing up very soon. Just all depends on who's going to be the first one out on track. But I'm not seeing anyone. I'm seeing drivers in the pit lane fitting a set of the intermediates, and I'm not seeing anyone on the intermediates. I'm seeing things at the moment, Andy. I'm seeing Jake Burnham, Luke Smith, Alvaro Caraton, John Evans, Jeffrey Ritchie, Simon Weigang, Shinaka Clay and Pedreño, all on a set of the softs. Then the rest of the drivers on the mediums. Luke Smith actually fitted a set of the intermediates. He's immediately gone back to the soft. So I think it's a bit of a waiting game, and I'm seeing that WR is offering everyone a cup of tea, and I think I could do it for one right now.
Yeah, well, WR, if you're listening, look, if it's you, be sure to bring one up to us. We're sitting here in the commentary box. It's freezing cold here in the Styrian Mountains. Me and Dan are looking for a cup of tea, so bring it on up, Luke. Come on, bring up the cup of tea. But 10.5 minutes to go. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. Oh, look at that! It's a car coming down the pit lane. Hooray! Who's that? Jeffrey Ritchie. Fantastic. A car on the racetrack in a league race. No way. Oh, wow, what a rare sight. Welcome to the racetrack, Jeffrey Ritchie. We've got a car to commentate on, Dan. Hallelujah.
Ray, I think Jeffrey Ritchie, he always likes to be the first one out on track, and he's braving it on a set of that soft compound tyre. We'll see what the grip's like for Jeffrey Ritchie here. Of course, a part of Race Clutch, the Alpine Academy, and he's looking pretty confident at the moment. We'll see into the downhill right-hander at Schlossgård. Yeah, it's looking tricky on a set of the softs, but maybe he'll be inspiring other drivers to come out on circuit. I'm seeing there's I think Shinaka Clay, yeah, he's leaving the pit lane as well. So drivers are beginning to brave the conditions, but it's going to be a clear track for Jeffrey Ritchie on his set of the soft compound tyre, unless everyone pours out of the pit lane now, and that's going to be very tricky for him to get his lap perfectly.
Yeah, so here we go then. Jeffrey Ritchie, the first man round there, just tentatively making his way into that final corner, and thankfully he doesn't do what Ulassos Yildirim did and peel off into the pits, and we will get a lap around the Red Bull Ring, one of the shortest tracks on the Formula 1 calendar. And here he goes into that first corner, uphill right-hander, very, very difficult first turn. Run wide there, get yourself onto the curb. You lose all sorts of traction and momentum climbing up this hill through turn 2 and then into the breakage over turn 3. You can brake a lot later into this corner because it's an uphill climb. It helps the car to slow down, and then makes his way out of there and then sweeps on down the hill through another overtaking area of the racetrack. And then this one's downhill, so you have to brake earlier into this one. Locks the right front up as he heads through there, and now into the technical, tight, twisty section of the racetrack. Blind one, this corner, difficult left-hander. So difficult to spot the turning point because it's so blind on the way in, and then sweeping down through the left and then into the next right, and then down towards the final couple of corners. Paragis would be doing well to get out the way, which he does, of his teammate, and then into the final couple of right-handers, throwing the car in. You need to have a lot of confidence through here, and Jeffrey Ritchie up to the line, completes the lap at 1 minute 3.6, and we're already going some 7 seconds quicker than what we saw in Q1 in the damp conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. It's lovely to see drivers going at their full potential in the slick conditions. Still slightly damp on circuit, so I'd imagine these guys can go even quicker. Shinaka Clay is going to be the next one on a run. Interestingly enough, on a set of the medium compound of tyre, so we'll see what he can do in his Aston Martin. I believe Alvaro Caraton is the next man out on track behind him, so we'll catch him as he finishes his lap. But Shinaka Clay going to pick up a slight tow from the Mercedes car just in front of him as Jake Burnham. He begins his lap as Shinaka Clay to the line, only 4 thousandths off of Jeffrey Ritchie. Really impressive considering they're on different compounds of tyre. What about Alvaro Caraton though? Coming through the final few corners now, he's a good few tenths quicker than Shinaka Clay as he crossed the line. The Spaniard in the Williams with a 1 minute 3.2, so the times already are beginning to come down, I'd say.
Yep, Pedreño has invalidated his lap, so he's not in a particularly quick one. What about Paradzis? He's in the final corner now, the Polish driver up to the line. What can he do? Cross it he goes, and he goes second on the medium compound behind Alvaro Caraton. It's Luke Smith now jumps into second place. We've got Barry Burnham in the final corner as Longuet goes second on the medium tyre. Burnham up to the line now, also on the medium, and he now goes second, the quickest of the medium runners though so far, a 103.266. A very strong effort there from Barry Burnham. Good lap there. What about Simon Weigang? No, that's not Simon Weigang. That is Simon Weigang making his way now up towards the final couple of corners on the medium compound. What can he do? Throwing the car into the first right-hander, then the second one, right up to the edge of the curb. Try not to invalidate. He doesn't. Across the line goes ninth at 1 minute 3.756 down.
Absolutely. So the times are beginning to pour on circuit at the moment as the track continues to improve. As Jack West is going to be the next one to cross the line. He goes slowest of them all. Jake Burnham unfortunately invalidated once again. Trying to see who's in the bottom 5 at the moment on a run. I believe that's Ulash Zildrum in his Haas car. As no, that's not Barry Bowman, that's Tomek Parajic going 3rd quickest. It's hard to keep track when there's so many blue chevrons on circuit at the moment. As Ulash Zildrum now through the final few corners. I think Runhar as well might be on a run in his McLaren. So he crossed the line a bit laggy, but he goes into 4th position as Zildrum goes 4th.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you. You're absolutely right. How hard is it to tell the difference between the Williams and the Alpine chevrons? It is impossible at times. I find it really, really difficult. I don't know about you guys at home, but I find it tough. As John Evans comes up to the line now, and he goes 4th with a 1 minute 3.347 in the Red Bull. What about Jake Burnham? I've not seen much of him in this session so far. No representative time set. It was a 103.3 he did there, but he must have invalidated it as he now begins a flying lap. So let's ride then with Jake Burnham. Dan, why don't we? As he takes us for a lap around this wonderful circuit here in the Styrian Mountains.
He's been on a few runs already, but he's coming up towards turn number 3 now, and off the exit he's going to open up the DRS. No tow from his teammate, of course eliminated in Q1. And yeah, he's backed off on that lap. I see on the telemetry he's running out of fuel, so I think Jake Burnham's going to be coming into the pits at the end of this one. I believe our first run of laps is over, but we'll see. I think Ruben Pedreño, yeah, he's on an out lap at the moment.
Richie is on a quick one. He's just come out the pits and he's gone a few hundreds quicker than his previous best through the first sector, as he now sweeps his way down the hill to the end of that long straight, just around the 75-metre board, and then makes his way into that right-hander, and then watch this, he'll move right out to the curb here into this blind left-hander. So difficult to spot the turn-in point, but Jeffrey Ritchie, I'm sure he's driven this track 1,000 more times than me, and he'll know it better than I do, even though it's a blind left corner, and he's 2 and a bit tenths up on his previous best at the minute, so he should improve quite considerably up the order as he flings it into the final couple of corners and heads for that line now in that Alpine car, and it's enough to go 4th quickest, a 103.326. But quite interesting to see the majority of drivers opting for the medium tyre, Dan. It clearly looks like that's the preferred strategy here, isn't it?
Absolutely, of course the medium soft is very powerful around this circuit, so pretty much the entire field wants to be on that yellow wall tyre for the start of the race. Kind of nullifies the advantage that the alternate strategy has, but Alvaro Carreton currently on provisionally at the top in Q2. He's on another run on a set of medium compound tyre. Yeah, he had a snap of oversteer through turn number 6, and that unfortunately sent him a bit wide and then off the circuit. So that's his run in the mud. But he does have some more drivers coming up behind him on circuit, as it's raining again.
Yeah, it's raining again. It's just started to rain again. I'm looking outside my commentary box window, Dan, and I'm reaching for the coat because it is beginning to rain, going on by the onboard of Luke Smith's camera. So the best of the conditions might be over, and this could be the key to qualifying right at the very end here. So 2.5 minutes to go. Is the best lap going to be the lap that the drivers are currently on? And Luke Smith at the minute is in trouble. He's down in 10th position. Can he get himself out of trouble as he heads up to the line now? Luke Smith, can he improve? He can, but only to 8th quickest. So Luke Smith in a bit of a vulnerable position in 8th place. What about Shanaka Clay? He's in the final corner, but it's only an out lap. So he'll start a flying lap now. Is there anyone else out there at the minute on a quick one? I think the Ferrari of Stachulek is, there he is on the medium tyre. 400ths up on his previous best, and he's currently in the bottom 5. So this is a big lap for him. And Nicholas Longue, by the way, is in the pits at the minute, and if Stachulek can beat him, he might just knock him out of qualifying. The championship leader, Nicholas Longue, could be in trouble here as the Polish driver, Stachulek, brings it into the penultimate corner, and now the final turn. Stachulek, he's invalidated it on the run to the line, and that is a bitter pill to swallow for him, and a sigh of relief for now for Nicholas Longue.
Yeah, of course, if this rain picks up enough, then all the drivers in the bottom 5 won't be able to set competitive times. That puts the likes of Shanaka Clay, Simon Weigang, Stachulek, West and Burnham crucially, our reigning WOR Season 11 champion at risk of going out in Q2. But Simon Weigang and Burnham are both in the second sector now. The Aston Martin of Weigang is only finding a 7,000th improvement. This could be the end of qualifying for all of these guys here. Burnham yet to set a lap, could be starting 15th. In this race, as we only got a minute to go left in qualifying. If you're not out on circuit, you're likely not going to be putting in a time, as Weigand's called it quits. He's coming to the pit lane. Burnham, though, up to the line. Can he go out of Q2? He can't. Burnham's going to be eliminated here, as is Jack West, Stahalek, and Clay Shawley.
Well, this is a disaster for them. I think Stachelek's on another lap. West is on another lap. Can Jack West knock Nicholas Longate out of qualifying? Up to the line he goes. No, he can't. He's only 14th. And his section looks like it's over. Jake Burnham trying again, but he's 300s down through the first sector. It is not working at all well for him. What about Shinaka Clay though? He's further round the lap. Can he try and get himself out of qualifying? He's 4/10 down, and he is definitely going to be knocked out here. No doubt about it. What about Jake Burnham? Let's have a look at his middle sector. I think he's going to get knocked out as well here. Oh, he's only 800s down on his previous best, but his previous best is only a 1 minute 3.7, so I've got to say it looks like it's curtains for Jake Burnham as well, Dan.
Yeah, it's coming through the final two corners now. It's looking like all hope is lost for Burnham, but as he comes across the line, can he see an improvement at least into 14th? No, it's not going to be. Jack West not on a push up at the moment, so that solidifies our bottom five. Both Ferraris, both Aston Martins, and a Mercedes of Stahalek, Clay, Weigang, West and Burnham all out in Q2.
Yeah, a few heavyweights dropping out of this session. Jake Burnham, the Tier 1 champion of last year, out in the second part of qualifying. Shinaka Clay, second in the driver's standings, out in the second part of qualifying, as is his teammate Simon Weigang, as is Fyodor Stachelek, and Jack West, all bowing out of qualifying at the second phase. They will not compete in Q3 for a shot at pole position, as the weather once again continues to cause chaos here in WOR. So there's your final results from qualifying 2. Alvaro Caraton is on top with a 103.2. Barry Buraman, the Iranian driver, second on the medium tyre. Crucially, gets himself through in a 103.2 as well. Ruben Pedreño on the softs is through, as is Paradzis on the medium. Jeffrey Ritchie is through in 5th. John Evans and Ulas Ozeldrum go through on mediums too, as does Luke Smith on softs, as does Ronhar and Longate too. Out, Stachelek, Clay, Weigang, Jack West, and the Tier 1 champion, Jake Burnham, all out of qualifying. And that is a disappointment for them, Dan, isn't it? Few heavyweights out at this stage that you probably wouldn't have expected.
Yeah, I'm most surprised really about Shinaka Clay. Of course, saying it isn't his favourite circuit, but to go out in Q2, that really is going to be a blow to his season, especially since his main rival at the moment, Nicholas Longate, currently leading him by 4 points in this championship, is now going to have a shot at pole position in Q3. So it's really going to be tough for Clay to come back from this one. But of course, if they're starting on the alternate strategy, having the fresher tyres as well could be a blessing for him. So we'll see what they have in store for us. But Q3 now is going to be underway, Andy.
Yeah, Q3 is underway, and unsurprisingly, it's just happening constantly at the minute. The weather has changed again, and it is now starting to drizzle once again, and the intermediate tyres might be required. But there is a very brave man in Alvaro Caraton, straight out there on the soft compound, and he can't get it stopped. DRS disabled, and that is his qualifying section up in smoke already, because he's now going to have to pit, and he's going to miss the best of the conditions on the intermediate tyres. A disaster for Alvaro Caraton by the looks of it, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, if you want to be out as quick as possible, and that driver at the moment is going to be Tomek Paradzic in his Alpine. So it'd be best to follow him on his run, as it's just going to be such treacherous conditions for Alvaro Caraton. The WOR weather likes to play tricks with us, but I think it's going to be a really cruel one for Alvaro in his Williams, topping Q2 as well by about a quarter of a tenth, so very fine margins. But it's going to be very difficult for him.
Straight off and into a spin goes Alvaro Caraton.
Oh,
that's how bad it is out there at the minute. Big off there for Caraton, and he'll have to slip and slide his way into the pit lane as qualifying gets underway for everybody else. So Dan, tell us, everyone in the chat tell us as well, who are you going for pole position in what's been a topsy-turvy qualifying session? Wet, dry so far. Who are you going for, Dan? Tell us.
Surely it's got to be Parajic if he's out this early in the best of the conditions. Unless things get better later on in the session, he struggles to get it stopped, but he manages to pull the car to a halt, and now he begins one of 3 DRS straights, but of course no DRS in the wet weather conditions. It was disabled right at the beginning of qualifying. Once again, a lock up into the downhill right-hander at Schlossgold, turn number 4. They're really struggling in these conditions, but if it gets worse than this, Parajic is surely going to be quickest.
Well, Parajic is going well. I'm going to go for Luke Smith for pole. Tell us in the chat, folks. Who do you think is going to get pole position? Parajic through the middle sector. It's a 48.8 for him. Jeffrey Ritchie behind him is on a lap as well, as is Thomas Ronhart and Luke Smith too on laps. But we need to go at the minute to the man at the head of the train, and that is Parajic, and this will tell us what the reference will be for everyone else. Up to the line he comes now. Where can he go? Here comes Parajic. He goes quickest. Jeffrey Ritchie behind him goes second quickest. Now we wait for Thomas Ronhart. He's bailed out of his lap. So what about Luke Smith? Up to the line now. Can he beat them? No, only a 1:10.7. He invalidated his lap, so it didn't work out for him. John Evans just split them. Behind that, no lap time from Ronhart or Barry Burnham that's particularly quick. What about Longay to the line? He goes third on a 1:10.6. Both Haas cars are out there on their own in the middle of the lap. Ulas Ozildrum is one of them. How's his middle sector looking? A 48.9 for Ulas Ozildrum. What about Ruben Pedreño's middle sector? Is it better than a 48.9? Let's keep an eye on it. Pedreño through there now. No, it's way worse. He's half a second slower than his teammate up to that middle sector. So Ozildrum then into the final corner, slipping and sliding his way up to the line. And he's lost a lot of time there. Surely it's enough to go fourth. 1:10.7. And Ruben Pedreño, you would think, will be slower than that. As I saw, I think that was Parajic. No, it was Ritchie going for a spin in the gravel, as the conditions are causing all sorts of problems here as Ritchie rejoins and really is struggling out there, Dan, isn't he?
Absolutely, but Barry Borman is braving these conditions, and he is just coming through the final 2 corners now in his McLaren car. Can he challenge the likes of Parajic, Evans and Longay, currently occupying the top 3 slots, as here comes Borman up to the line. He goes quickest by 0.3 of a second, and Ronhart follows him. It's a front row lockout provisionally for McLaren, a 1-2 for the boys in orange as Barry Borman leads his teammate, and that proves the conditions. It's going to be easier at the start of the session, but it's not impossible. So all these drivers have hope at the moment.
Ulas Ozildrum a 10th down on his previous best. The conditions are certainly there as both McLarens shoot their way to the top of the order here in qualifying. Burneman and Ronhart some distance clear of the rest as Ulas Ozildrum wrestles his Haas through the final couple of corners and up to the line. Ozildrum crosses it now and goes fourth quickest onto the second row. What about his teammate Ruben Pedreño? He's on a pretty decent lap here. Pedreño up to the final corner. Is he going to improve on P8? He surely will. He goes up to 5th. So good lap from him then, as we now wait on the next car to cross the line, and that will be Alvaro Carreton, but he has invalidated that lap. So we go to Parajic then, the Polish driver, up to the final turn. 1:10.2 from Burneman to beat. Can he do it? He can get onto the front row as Burneman tries to stretch his advantage further. 1:10.2, now at 1:10.1. As Ronhart now crosses the line, he can't improve, and it's Burneman still on top as Luke Smith now fancies a chance at pole position. He crosses the line and goes P4. Wow, what a session this is turning into as Jeffrey Ritchie has gone into the pit stand. Wow.
Yeah, wow, indeed, as they're all still out on circuit, braving these conditions. Alvaro Carreton pulled into the pit lane, unfortunately, no, he actually invalidated his lap, and once again invalidated on this run, so he's struggling at the moment as Ozildrum is about 2/10 up in his previous best, and invalidation out of the final turn. Where would that have put him? It'd have put him just behind Ronhart, his teammate Pedreño pulling into the pit lane. That leaves the next driver out on circuit, I believe, Borman. I don't know if he's pushing at the moment. The Iranian driver is 3/10 down, so I'm not too sure if he's going for a run, and neither is Tomek Parajic. So I'd imagine all these drivers who have put laps in at the moment, they're going to be coming back into the pit lane and then strapping on a fresh set of boots if they have any, and then going out once again clean. But Nicolas Longay going to have a free track in front of him. He's beginning a lap in his Alfa Romeo.
Excellent stuff then. So it looks like we will get continued excitement. We won't have a pause at all here in qualifying as everyone changes tyres. Longy out of sync with the rest of the drivers, is going for another lap, as is Luke Smith, I think, starting a flying lap. Yes, he is. But we'll keep an eye on Longy. Also, John Evans starting a flying lap too. So there's 3 cars out there for us to keep an eye on at the moment. Evans out there, as is Longy and Smith. So we'll keep an eye on Longy. He's furthest round the track, and he's found 800s on that 1 minute 10.6 he did through the first sector. So Longy now heading down into turn 5, locking the both front tyres, hugging the inside like his favourite granny, and then accelerating out of that corner, and now into the next left-hander. Moves his car over to the curb to open up the corner. Let's keep an eye at that top right-hand corner. How is Longy's middle sector as he slides his way down the hill? A 10.5 up for Nicholas Longy on his previous best. What about Luke Smith? How's he doing? He's currently down through the first sector on his previous best. What's his middle sector like? He's still down, so it's not working out for him. What about John Evans through the middle sector? He is up on his previous best, but we need to go to Longy, who's in the final corner now. Can he knock Barry Burnham off top spot? The championship leader gunning for pole, but he's bailed out. He's bailed out. He's in a horrible final sector. He's bailed out of the lap. Luke Smith is coming into the pits. What about John Evans into the final corner now? And he invalidates at the final turn. Heartbreak for him. Frustration. He stays P7.
Yeah, John Evans. I believe he could go again, but he has unfortunately got this lap and next lap invalidation. So that's going to be another run in the bin for him. I think he'd imagine he'd just save his ERS and then gear up to go once again. But Longy is pushing on another run, of course, backing out on the last lap that he did. We'll see what he can do. He's got a clear track in front of him as he goes in towards Slosh Gold, turn number 4, and off the exit at the corner. What can he do as he rises the crest and then flings it in to the left-hand side of the circuit? We just want to kiss the apex. He's missed his apex ever so slightly. We'll see what his improvement is. It's only a 1/10 of a second up on his previous best, just under that. This won't be enough to put him pole, and that certainly won't. He's invalidated again. That leaves, I believe, Paragic just behind him on circuit, but I believe Jeffrey Ritchie, the next one on a run.
Yeah, Jeffrey Ritchie on a lap. Interestingly, by the way, you can probably see it, folks. Thomas Ronhar in the pit lane on soft tyres. He's not gone out on the track yet. Will he get the chance to go out on them? That would be a brave move from him. If he could do it and make it work, he could be on for back-to-back poles as Jeffrey Ritchie comes into the final corner now. What can he do as he heads round that final corner and begins to sprint to the line? Can he go quickest of all here? Nope, he stays P9 despite his improvement. What about John Evans in the final corner? He's bailed out of that current lap, and now we can pick up Jonas Oseldrum or Ruben Pedreño. Yes, Ruben Pedreño on a lap down.
Yeah, Ruben Pedreño just coming through the second sector now. We'll see what he is at the split. He's just under 1.5 tenths up on his previous best. If he can find a few more tenths improvement, he could see himself onto the front row of the grid. He's got to find about 4 tenths of a second if he wants to challenge Barry Burnham for pole position. Here comes Pedreño in his ASCAR, now coming down through the final 2 corners. What can the Spaniard do as he comes across the line? Is he going to go ahead of... he goes ahead of his teammate. But he lost time in that final sector, so he struggles to improve, but he at least finds some time as Alvaro Carreton has gone 4th position. Burman's backed out on his run. Paragic is going to be next though, and he is almost a 10th up on his previous best. Here comes the pole off the exit of the final corner, trying to control the car as he crosses the line. That's lost him all the time in the world there, and that is going to be possibly pole position denied of him.
Here comes Jeffrey Ritchie then for the line. He's on a better lap this time round. Can he get off the bottom? He can. He goes 4th. Great lap from him. Burnham not in a quick one at the minute. What about John Evans, currently 9th? This time he does get round the final corner without issue. What's the lap time going to be then? Evans goes P3, a 10.5 shy of the pole position time he was looking for. So a decent effort there from him. Carreton going again through the middle sector. Is he up this time? He is by 700ths, but it won't be enough to get pole position at this rate, I wouldn't think. It would need to be a colossal final sector if he wanted pole, but we'll follow him nonetheless as the Spaniard makes his way into the final couple of corners as we get to the business end here of qualifying. We're in the final minute of it. Carreton then up to the line, currently P6, he's now P3. Good time from him. We've got other cars out there. Smith going for the line, he's currently 7th. Pedreño maybe. What about him? He's crossing the line now. He stays P9. What about Longy? He's in the run to the line, but he's not on a lap. Ronhar perhaps outlap as well. So they're all on outlaps as Paragic goes across the line and stays P2. Wow, what a session this is. Burnham though going again, and he's a 10th up. And is he going to be the first man into the 1 minute 9s here in Q3? Barry Burnham on debut, laying down the gauntlet to the others and delivers a 1 minute 10.1. He goes quicker, but that could still be beaten, perhaps by maybe John Evans. No, he's slowed down, not on a lap. Ritchie though goes P6 as qualifying begins to hot up, Dan.
Absolutely, Alvaro Carreton unfortunately invalidated on a run that he was improving on. As now the clock has struck 0, drivers need to put in their laps. Now DRS has been enabled as through the final sector, Zildrum has spun. Ulash Zildrum goes for a spin. Unfortunately, that's his qualifying put to a swift end. Here comes Luke Smith now through the final corner now. Off the exit, can he find an improvement to go into the top 5 at the very least? He crossed the line, can only remain in 8th position. Longue is finding a slight improvement, but this is not good for our championship leader as he's struggling to get the car stopped through turn number 10. Cross the line, he has found improvement, but it's not enough to trump anyone.
And Ronhar spins over the finish line, so his lap is gone as well. Disaster for him, and they're all coming into the pits, I think. I think session is over. I think Barry Burnham has got it in the bag. Ronhar went into the final corner there. I don't know how good his lap was, but he spun it on the way into the final corner, and his lap is gone. And I think that will be it. Is John Evans on a lap? No, he's not. That, unless Ritchie's on one, which he isn't, is the end of qualifying. And Barry Burnham on debut gets the pole position, Dan. What a lap from him. Excellent stuff. Pole position on debut.
Impressive stuff from Barry Burnham there. Of course, multiple race winner already in PSGL and on his WOR debut. Really impressing so far with pole position at the Red Bull Ring by about half a tenth ahead of Tomek Parajic. Alvaro Carreton in 3rd. So the top 3 all very close on circuit at the moment. What a nice way to end qualifying there as we're just waiting for Jeffrey Ritchie to get his Alpine serviced, and then we should be able to get into the race.
Yeah, wow, what a fantastic qualifying session that was. Drama throughout, everyone always out there on a lap. Someone was always going to be on one, no pauses. We had to wait a little bit in Q2, didn't we, to get laps, but wow, it really did start to heat up when we did get going properly. And what a fantastic session, and it's Barry Burnham on debut in WOR with the pole position, 1 minute 10.1. He probably could have went quicker if it wasn't for a slight slide out the final corner. He was potentially on for a 1 minute 9, but he didn't quite need it, and that was enough for pole. The Iranian on top here in Austria for round 4 of the championship. He starts from pole. Tomek Parajic will be joining him on the front row from 2nd. Alvaro Carreton is P3 with John Evans in 4th. Thomas Ronhar lines up 5th, the hero from last week, and Ruben Pedreño lines up P6. Jeffrey Ritchie is 7th, the second Dutchman in the order, with Ulas Orgeldrum in P8. Luke Smith starts from 9th, and Nicolas Longue completes a row 5 start for both Alfa Romeos. He will start the race from P10. What a really exciting session that was, Dan. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this Grand Prix as we're going to have a real mixture of strategies. So many drivers on different compounds. We've got some on softs and some on mediums.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to see how this all pans out come race time, and I'm interested to see what the weather conditions are looking like. But I'd imagine if everyone's qualifying in Q2 on the mediums, that's going to suggest a dry race ahead of us. And yeah, I've just loaded into session. It's nice, clear blue skies over in the Styrian Hills. So I'm really excited to see how the 20 drivers, everyone who was eliminated in Q2 and Q3, now back into contention in the race. And I'm excited to see how all those guys get along.
Yeah, well, let's see how they get on. It is now time for round 4 of the WOR season here from the Austrian Grand Prix in the Styrian Mountains. Here it is then, round 4 of the season in the high mountains of Styria for the Austrian Grand Prix here from the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg. What a magnificent setting it is for a beautiful race here today. Jake Burnham took his last WR Tier 1 victory here last season, some 10 races ago. This is his longest win streak in WR history. Can he end that tonight? Here's the racetrack, 3 sectors as always, 4.3 kilometres, 2.6 miles, just 10 turns, but we've got 2 DRS zones and plenty of opportunity for the cars to overtake. Big climb from turn 1 up to turn 3 on this racetrack, and there are your previous winners. As we touched on, Jake Burnham, the man that won here last time out when we arrived on PC. let's have a look at some fantastic moments from the past. Here's Super Sam Corby going side by side with Tom Robble battling round the outside into this blind left-hander, trading paint, touching wheels, but Sam Corby gets the move done in fine style. And what about Chile going to Narnia? A big slide at the top of the hill as he was battling going into turn 3. This is where we expect lots of the action today. Hopefully no action like this though, as Chile slides across the runoff area and thankfully doesn't collect anyone else. Great stuff, and really looking forward to today's. Well, here it is then, 36 laps ahead of the drivers tonight. And well, this should be a cracker. There's the pit stop strategy as Barry Burnham starts this race from pole. A very short lap to the grid for the drivers, and now we can take a look at those tyre compounds that they're all on. If we can just get it up, there we go. Barry Burnham starting this race on the medium compound, as is Tomek Paradžis and Alvaro Carreton as well on the soft tyres. They make their way onto the start grid. Dan, final word from you before we get going. Who's going to win the Austrian Grand Prix, round 4 of the championship? Everyone in the chat, let us know. Who are you going for the victory?
Oh, you know what? Just because I love to see a drive through the grid, I'm going to go with Shanaka Clay to win this race from P12 on the grid.
Well, I'm going to go for the pole sitter, Barry Burnham, to take the victory as we wait for the final car on the grid, which is Primož Miklasic to move into position. Barry Burnham starts from pole. There's Tomek Paradžis right alongside him as we wait for those 5 red lights. As we wait on the grid, and now the lights are coming on. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And when they go out, we'll be racing here in Austria. Lights out and away we go. Barry Burnham leads from pole. Tomek Paradžis with a super start pulls alongside into turn 1, but he can't quite break late enough. And Burnham holds on. Running wide there was Carton, one of the Hassies, and there's carnage at the back there. That is 3 cars off. That is Vigang, Burnham, and Louis Welsh all in the barrier at the start of this race as they go climbing up the hill. And we've got a virtual safety car already. Carnage at the start of this race, Dan. Vigang, Burnham, and Louis Welsh all gone.
3 drivers collected in one single incident there, and the VSC, the safety car, has now been deployed to the VSC, upgraded to the full-blown safety car on lap number 1. Really difficult scenes. Unfortunate for the 3 out of this race. Had high hopes for Vigang, Burnham and Welsh that they could make a climb through the order, but their days hastily put to a close. And that leaves us at the end of lap number 1, not even at the end, with only 17 runners left in the grid.
Well, that is crazy stuff at the start of the Grand Prix. And annoyingly for us neutrals, 2 of the drivers that chose the hard compound out of the Grand Prix at this early stage, which is a real shame because I was looking to see how that strategy would have took shape. But Vigang, Burnham and Welsh all gone. And as you saw in that little intro, Jake Burnham's winless streak in WOR appears, well, not appears, it will be continuing as he ends this race here in Austria in the barrier. Liam Parnell has had to come into the pits at the end of this opening lap. Has he changed the front wing? It looked like he did, and he's gone onto a set of the hard compound tyre. So we'll have 2 drivers then on the hard, and they're both at the back of the field, Tom Martinez and Liam Parnell. Nobody at the front though, interestingly, but it was on the softs, opting to pit. Everyone at the back, well, Liam Parnell, who was down towards the back anyway, chose the hard compound of tyre. But a shame to lose those 3 so early on, Dan, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And unfortunate for Jake Burnham that his streak is going to continue without a win. I'm just trying to see on the VOD of one of their streams. I'm watching Jake's stream back at the moment to see what happened there. It was really unfortunate that they all got collected in such an incident. I think there was just no room at the inn. I'd imagine, yes, Simon Vigang drawn a bit too wide, went into an AlphaTauri of Louis Welsh, and then that collected Jake Burnham. So it's a turn 1 cluster. Really unfortunate that things end up like that, but they've just got to gear up for next week, I'd imagine. Really, I'm just so disappointed for all of them that they can't get the chance to prove themselves in this race.
Yep, so they are all out of this Grand Prix. Let's take a look at the position change then on this opening lap. Not much of change because of course the safety car was deployed so quickly. So position change at the front, not really much, as we now have a movement in the pit lane. Shanaka Clay and Sam Corby have made the decision to come into the pits. And every time I try and chase Shanaka Clay down the order, I keep missing him. There we go. And he's in the pits now, and he's coming on to a set of hard tyres. So he and Sam Corby believe that might be the strategy to go to. They obviously feel they can run to the end of the race and buy a pit stop out of this then. So that's both of them, Tom Martinez and Liam Parnell, all switching to the hard compound. That's an interesting choice of tyre, an interesting strategy. Can they run to the end, Dan? That's got to be the plan.
I think Tom started on this tyre. It says it's 2 laps old on my timing tower, but Liam Parnell, Shanaka Clay and Sam Corby going to try to go to the end. They're going to have a few laps under the safety car, which is going to help them. But later on in the Grand Prix, they are not going to be feeling good at all, especially since you're going to see the likes of Burnham, Parajic, Evans, all on a set of these soft compound of tyre coming back at them, and it's really going to be unfortunate. But we've got message from race control, the safety car coming in this lap. That leaves Barry Burnham. It's his discretion as to when and where they go, leading from Parajic and Alvaro Carreton. Interested to see where he'll get on the soft compound of tyre. We're about to get underway once again, Andy.
Yeah, not long now till we get back underway here. Barry Burnham then, currently your race leader, the man that took pole position here in his debut in WOR. He started the year very well over in PSGL as well with a victory, or a couple of victories, one in the Invitational, remember, as well as the opening race. And as we get ready to get going, it's Barry Burnham that's going to lead us away, and he has now dropped the throttle, and we are go at the start of lap 3, 36 laps ahead of the drivers altogether. We're now on to lap number 4 as they cross the line and get back going again, and Perez is right behind Barry Burnham as they make their way into that first corner. No sign of any movers and shakers just yet, but there's plenty of opportunity going up the hill towards turn 3, and Perez is right behind Barry Burnham already, but not quite close enough to go for the move. Will he try it? No, he won't. He'll stay put. What about behind that? Ronhar maybe thinking about a move, and Ruben Pedreño being overtaken there by John Evans. John Evans up the inside and through into 4th position as all the battling goes on behind those at the front. Pedreño then dropping down. Can he now get back ahead of John Evans? No, he can't. Into the braking zone. He stays where he is. Clean start as we get back underway on lap 4 now.
Yeah, absolutely. They're all just trying to keep their noses clean. They've seen the carnage that this circuit can bring, and they're just trying to stay out of trouble. Ronhar was looking close onto the back of Ruben Pedreño, but he wasn't able to go for the move. Almost got boxed in by John Evans, who looked to the inside pretty early there. As continuing on with this race, no DRS until 2 laps after the safety car period has ended, but at a circuit like Austria where the laps are so fast, they come at you thick and quick, it is not going to be long until we start to see some DRS action as Luke Smith looking close to the rear of Ulash Zildjian. If he can get a good exit off of turn number 1, we'll be right onto the back of the Haas car. Ferrari power against Ferrari power down the main straight here in towards turn number 2 and 3. Can Luke Smith look to the inside line? He pulls to the right side, but Zildjian now breaks himself, almost goes into Jeffrey Ritchie, has to avoid him. Luke Smith going over the curbs there, and Zildjian's lost out the most because Nicolas Longuet sides his way through, and he's got past his teammate now, so it's all kicking off on lap number 5 of this Grand Prix as Longuet goes to the inside of his teammate Luke Smith without any defence. Zildjian still trying to find an avenue to overtake that Alfa Romeo, but it's all Zildjian spun!
Yeah, he'd been hit by Stachulek. Stachulek hit him in the rear, and now Stachulek's under threat from Jack West, who tries to go up the inside of his teammate. Oh, and off goes Jack West into the wall, and his race has also been ruined. What a crazy start to this Grand Prix. Zildjian gets going again, Jack West gets going again, both drivers paying the price for getting involved heavily in that battle. But Zildjian definitely not the guilty party. He was spun round by Stachulek. Not too sure but what happened between Stachulek and West though. 2 Ferraris coming together, and Binotto will be banging his fists. He will not be happy about that.
It's never good to see 2 teammates coming together. Jack West unfortunately retiring in the pit lane here, but at the front of the order, DRS now has been enabled. Drivers can utilise that down the DRS straights. There's 3 of them on this circuit to potentially go for a move as Parajic closes to the rear of Burmand, but he wants to keep that DRS advantage for as long as he can, and he backs off before the corner comes. Alvaro Carreton has got to be thinking about a move very soon actually, because he is using the soft compound of tyre. He's going to have to pit a lot earlier than Burmand, Parajic and Evans, who are all mixed in a fight with him at the moment as they continue on the lap. Parajic, he wasn't trying to overtake Burmand, but if he's going to be backing off towards the braking zones, well, that's going to surely see an opportunity open up for Alvaro Carreton as they come on to begin lap number 7 here.
Lap 7 then, John Evans with the fastest lap of the race, so 1 minute 5.7. He's sitting comfortable at the minute in P4 as John Evans. Let's get an eye on board with him. as he follows after Alvaro Caraton and Tomek Baradzis, as we've got a move between Stachulek and Smith. And it would appear Stachulek's got himself ahead of Luke Smith and up into 9th position. So Luke Smith drops down into P10 in that particular tussle. We missed that one on the camera, sorry folks. But here is Baradzis behind Barry Burnham, and you just feel at this stage of the race the front drivers are just playing tactically as things stand with the ERS management. And we can take a quick look at that at the minute. Tomek Baradzis, 97%, almost 100% of his battery following Barry Burnham. And even Barry Burnham is able to keep that battery fully charged. So yeah, he's doing a good job at the minute at the front, Barry Burnham, keeping them at bay without having to use his battery.
Well, that's probably to the annoyance of Alvaro Caraton that he can't utilise the soft to their full effect. As off the exit at turn number 10, you'll see he's able to get the good run on Baradzis, but given that they're in a DRS train at the moment, he can't close at all. In effect, the DRS has been neutralised. It doesn't have any matter. But off the exit of turn 1, he's got a really good run on Baradzis, and he's going to be closing to the rear of the Polish driver, who could be looking for a move on Burnham in towards turn number 3's braking zone. He had a half look up the inside. Alvaro Caraton now trying to squeeze through, see if he can take a position off the exit of turn number 3 now. Here comes Caraton in his Williams car, closing to the Alpine, but he's not been able to find an opportunity. He's in towards turn number 4. He goes later on the brakes, but there's no room at the end for him. Baradzis with a good defence there, holding off Caraton.
Yeah, good stuff there. What about Shanaka Clay down in 14th at the minute? Whoa, big slide from him there as we went on board. He was getting close to the back of Tom Martinez, and he'll be getting increasingly frustrated. He went to the hard tyre, plans to run long in this race, perhaps right to the end, and he'll want to start making some progress behind Tom Martinez. It's not happening for him at the minute. He's still stuck behind the man who won the Canadian Grand Prix last year here in Tier 1, Tom Martinez. He can't get through, and he's still stuck down in 14th position. But look at the slide that Martinez was getting there going into the final corner. So an interesting race developing, an interesting dynamic at the front and at the back, as Baradzis maybe this time is going to have a look at the back of Barry Burnham as we go on to lap 9 now out of 36. 1/4 race distance, and Baradzis now thinks about it and decides against it and backs out behind Barry Burnham. He's just playing a game, waiting and waiting for his moment to pounce.
Oh, Pedreño's gone into the back of Ronhar at turn number 3 there. Ronhar overtook him into the braking zone. Pedreño having none of it, and now they're wheel to wheel. It's a drag race down towards turn number 4, and it's good to see that Pedreño concedes there. Of course, he pushed he pushed Ronhar off.
Shanaka Clay finally gets past Tom Martinez and up into 13th place. Important move there for Shanaka Clay. Next up, Liam Parnell, which is the lead driver of those on the hard. So a good move there from him. And he is up into 13th place. So that's very, very important for Shanaka Clay. Can he now get after Liam Parnell and make that move? But yeah, all happening as Ruben Pedreño was battling, as you say, with Thomas Ronhar. As Barry Burnham still has a half-second lead over Baradzis, who has a half-second lead over Caraton, who has a half-second lead over John Evans, and so on and so forth until you get to Longue and Ritchie as they are fighting over 7th and 8th. And you can see that Jeffrey Ritchie closing in a little bit now on the back of Ruben Pedreño. Is he going to be close enough for a move? Not quite, as they get to the braking zone, as they're all backing up at the front. Barry Burnham just controlling the pace out there at the minute, as Shanaka Clay, I believe, has made another move. Yes, he has, passing Liam Parnell now, as Tom Martinez and Sam Corby battle at the back of the train as well. Let's keep an eye on this. Sam Corby going down the inside of Tom Martinez. Can he get the move done into the braking zone? Martinez on the outside. Oh, they trade paint going through the corner. Both cars locking up. And now with the extra bit of traction, Sam Corby will pull alongside and maybe pass Tom Martinez. No, he won't. Martinez hanging in there. Great stuff at the rear of the field between the pair. And Martinez still holds on. Round the outside goes Corby. Inside for the next corner. But still they go wheel to wheel. Absolutely epic stuff for 14th and 15th place. Is Corby through now? I think he is. And he has finally got himself ahead of Tom Martinez. Awesome racing between those two down at the rear of the field, Dan.
Yeah, great mutual respect between the pair of them, but the battles might not be over as Burnham is pulling off to the left-hand side. Baradzis has gone through and he's into the lead of this Grand Prix, and I think Burnham, he wanted a healthy dose of DRS just to save his tyres maybe. Following behind Tomek Baradzis as there's been a move at the front. Baradzis ahead of Burnham. Alvaro Caraton, he couldn't do anything but watch because he's just not close enough to either of these guys, and those tyres, they're not going to be feeling their best at the moment with 10 laps of wear on them. Granted, the first 4 of them were under safety car conditions, so it's not all doom and gloom for Alvaro Caraton. He's probably got maybe 4 or 5 laps until he needs to come into the pit lane, but those 4 or 5 laps, they're going to be crucial for him if he wants to make a move on any of these guys at the moment as they're coming through now the final 2 corners. Burnham following behind Tomek Paragic. We'll see if he wants to go for a move in towards turn number 3.
Look at this, Nicholas Longy now really quick on the mediums, and maybe the softs are past their sell-by date because now he's hunting down Jeffrey Ritchie and Ruben Pedreño. Ritchie with a big slide, and here comes Longy. Down the inside he goes, and he breezes past him as he makes the error as Barry Burnham comes back through on Tomek Paragic. And they switch and change lap after lap. Barry Burnham back in front and back into the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. Flipping and changing lap after lap, and Barry Burnham retakes the place from Tomek Paragic, who decides against going back for the move into the braking zone, and Caraton will be getting increasingly frustrated, Dan, won't he?
Yeah, absolutely. He's running out of time, running out of laps to make these moves before he needs to pit and go into a set of the mediums to go to the end of the race. He's going to have a big undercut on Burnham and Paragic and Evans as well, so he can't get complacent because, of course, later on in the Grand Prix, when they're on the soft compounder tyre, they'll be a lot quicker than worn-out mediums as Burnham continues to lead this race. We've got a shunt.
Stachulek and Ritchie. Stachulek's been in all sorts of drama so far. We've got Ritchie facing the pit lane entry, going 0 mile an hour, and that is a big crash there. Stachulek and Ritchie. I think Ritchie, when we were on board with Stachulek, gave him the little weave to say, I'm coming into the pits. Stachulek perhaps didn't anticipate it, ran into the back of him, and the 2 of them crashed at the final corner. Clumsy stuff there, and I've got to be honest, Stachulek, he's not covered himself in glory so far in this race, and that was a big mistake from a driver of his calibre.
He's had a few incidents, has Stachulek today, and he's coming into the pit lane to fit on a set of the soft compound of tyre. Meanwhile, whilst all that was happening, Longy did make a move on Ruben Pedreño, who's not feeling those soft tyres at the moment, and you get the feeling that if Pedreño's not quick on the set of the soft one, neither is Alvaro Caraton. He's got John Evans for company and Thomas Ronhaar right behind him at the moment, so it could all come to a close. It could all come crashing down for Alvaro Caraton if he's not able to keep with Paragic and Burnham in front of him, but he's doing a very good job of that as Pedreño, he pulls into the pit lane. That's going to be warning signs for Alvaro Caraton that he needs to pit eventually in this race, and he's using up his ERS, possibly could signify that he wants to come into the pits very soon, as in towards turn number 3. Tomek Paragic closes to Burnham, but again, it's quite characteristic of this race already. No one wants to lead this Grand Prix.
Yeah, no one wants to lead it. Barry Burnham is, though, the leader at the minute. Tomek Paragic gaining again, but not going for the move, and stays in second place. It's been interesting so far, Dan, hasn't it? A few times they've wanted to make the move, and a few times they haven't wanted to make the move, but at the minute it's Barry Burnham in the lead with Paragic second, Alvaro Caraton still playing the waiting game in third, and as you said, he'll be a little bit concerned to have seen, was it Ruben Pedreño? Yeah, it was Ruben Pedreño come into the pits off the softs and onto the mediums, and perhaps struggling for grip, but Caraton hanging in there at the minute, doing a decent job as Thomas Ronhaar is getting a little bit closer to the back of John Evans, who is also getting a bit closer to the back of Caraton. So is this the moment where Caraton's tyres are starting to fade down? It's starting to look that way, isn't it? As Miklavčič has also bailed out and come into the pits.
It's interesting for Miklavčič to come in that early on a set of the mediums, probably going onto a set of the hards, but indeed I believe that Alvaro Caraton's tyres are not in good condition whatsoever. John Evans has been able to reel him in quite substantially actually at this point in the race, as they're all filing through on towards the back straight down in towards turn number 4. Paragic closes, but again doesn't go for a move. Alvaro Caraton losing time with these guys, especially in this second sector. Stachulek with the fastest lap of the race on a fresh set of the soft compounder tyre. We'll see how well that takes him into this Grand Prix, but all the fighting seems to be at the front of the order, and I think Alvaro Caraton might try and dip into the pit lane at the end of this lap. We'll see if he pulls off to the right hand side. Indeed he does. That's going to compromise Evans's line into the final corner. He gets close. Oh, he's got damage. John Evans has damage and he can't pit now.
Oh, well, that's incredible. Did you see? So I didn't see that. So John Evans got damaged, but what I did see was Parages have a massive slide out the final corner. So just run that by me. What happened there?
Carrollton pulled into the onto the right lane, and then John Evans just messed up his line. I think he carried too much speed into the corner, and unfortunately got damaged, and he missed the pit entry line, so he couldn't pit, and that's going to be race over surely for Evans. He's got to limp around the lap with no left end plate.
Right, now I see. I was on board with Caraton at the time. I didn't realise that Evans had ran into the back of him. Meanwhile, Evans is pulling over. He's going slowly. I think his race is run. He's going to let all those guys go through with that damaged front wing. Doesn't want to get in the way. Yeah, he might even retire from the Grand Prix when he gets back to the pits. Disaster for John Evans as we go back to the front. Barry Burman still ahead of Tomek Parages by half a second now. It was interesting because we were on board with Caraton at the moment that John Evans hit him, and Parages had a massive slide going through the final corner. He was way off the road, and that was my distraction. That's why I never seen what happened to Evans. It's just all happening here as they begin lap number 17 now out of 36. We're almost at halfway. Barry Burman continues to lead, but what about Shinaka Clay? He's only around 9 seconds? Let's have a look. Gap to the leader, 10.7 off the lead. He's pitted and is planning to go right to the end of this Grand Prix, Dan.
Absolutely, just ahead of them, up on the road, Nicholas Longuet picks up another position, this time on Thomas Ronhaar. So he's reeling in the two leaders without DRS though. He's about 1.5 seconds back from the leading Alpine McLaren of Burman and Parages. Both of these guys have been taking it so long so far in this race. And there's confirmation, John Evans at the bottom of your screen. You can see he's retired from the session. That makes it 5 drivers out of this Grand Prix. We've lost Evans, West, Weigang, Burnham and Welsh, unfortunately in 17 laps here. But we still have 15 runners looking to make moves as certainly Alvaro Carreton goes ahead of Ulash Zildrum in towards turn number 4 on fresh medium tyres. He's surely going to be the quickest man out on circuit.
Yeah, he sure will be. Let's see how quickly he can catch the group in front, the likes of Shinaka Clay, Liam Parnell, Sam Corby and Tom Martinez, because they are essentially net leaders ahead of them because, of course, they pitted under the safety car. Oh, Tom Martinez actually, he started on his tyres, didn't he? But the rest, the other 3, all pitted under SC. So they have to be overtaken if Caraton wants to win the race. As Barry Burman and Tomek Parages swap positions again into the braking zone. And Parages, at the halfway stage of this race, is back ahead of Barry Burman and into the lead once more as we approach the pit stop phase.
And they've got a creeping Frenchman just up behind them as well, Nicholas Longuet. He's pulled within DRS range of these guys. As Burman gets really close to the rear of Tomek Parages, but doesn't opt to go for a move. These guys are beginning to use up their ERS. It's really difficult to save your battery around here, and those guys are certainly feeling the effects of it, especially since their pit window is going to be opening up very soon. I'd imagine in the next 4 or 5 laps, they'll be coming into the pit lane to fit on a fresh set of the soft compounder tyre to run to the end. But at the halfway point in this Grand Prix, they're just about to reach lap number 19. Parages ahead of Burman and ahead of Longuet as well, who I think might have an ERS issue because he's been he's been able to disable it. I remember on the last few games there'd be issues with the ERS, so he's been able to maintain that, and he's closing to the 2 leaders.
And we're going to have another change of leadership again, I think. Oh no, Barry Burman decides against going for the move this time on Tomek Parages as they all concertina up going into turn number 3. Parages leads, Burman second, Longuet third, Ronhaar in P4. And here's a question for everyone in the chat and a question for you, Dan. What do you think Shinaka Clay's plan is? Is he going to run to the end on the hards, or do you think he might make a pit stop later on, go to the red walled soft tyre and try and hunt that group back down again? Interesting.
Most certainly, I think he's going to try to go to the end on this tyre, but if the safety car comes out when everyone else is pitted, he's going to be in the best position out of anyone. He's going to have that free opportunity to pit, as I think, Parages and Burman, speaking of pit stops, they're coming in. Longuet stays out for another run here, as does Ronhaar. He doesn't want to double stack. So the 2 leaders in this race now into the pit lane, and they're grinding to a halt. Both of them locking their brakes, trying to go as quick as possible. But on lap number 20, they've just begun. They're going to have a tough task ahead of them to do 17 laps consecutively on a set of the soft compounder tyre, and surely that's going to trigger an undercut from Ronhaar and Longuet. Speaking of Ronhaar and Longuet, Ronhaar's made to move to the lead.
What about Caraton though? Where's he going to be? Is he going to be ahead? He should be ahead, and he will be well ahead of the other two, so he's ahead of Paragis and Barry Burnham. So that's an undercut of 3 laps from Alvaro Caraton. So he is now ahead of them and essentially is net leader of the guys on mediums. But Barry Burnham and Tomic have gone to soft, so they'll hunt him down. Will they get to him and overtake him? What an interesting mix of strategy we have here. Drivers on hards going to the end, drivers on mediums going to the end, and drivers on softs. But as you say, didn't catch it, Ron Hart is ahead of Longay and is now the lead car. But is he going to come into the pits? Nope, they're going to carry on for another lap. Very interesting stuff.
They're both opting to go again. They're beginning lap number 21 now out of 36. All the drivers have made their mandatory pit stops aside from these guys, as well as Tom Martinez. He's going to be thinking about a pit stop very soon here, as Longay could be looking for a move on Ron Hart. I think they're just trading the lead at the moment, so I'm not expecting Ron Hart to fight this at all, and Longay doesn't even need to use any of his ERS, so once again they trade the lead of this Grand Prix, and I don't imagine they'll be fighting too hard at the moment. But of all the hard runners actually at the moment, I think that's where we could see most of our fights, because Shinaka Clay is currently leading Liam Parnell and Sam Corby, and these guys are looking quite racy at the moment, using up their battery and trying to go for moves at the moment, probably trying to stretch an advantage away from Alvaro Caraton on the mediums, who's closing up to them. As down in towards turn number 4, none of them are able to make a move, but it's great that we're seeing a bunch of strategies coming into effect here.
Yeah, the safety car at the start really mixing up the strategies, the weather and qualifying, mixing it up too. So just to be clear to everyone, if you've just joined us, lap 21 out of 36. And here is the detail at the minute. Waiting on pit stop from Longay, Ronhar, Martinez and Ulas Orzildrum. They have yet to stop as things stand. We have got Shinaka Clay, Liam Parnell and Sam Corby. They've the leaders that have pitted in this race. They pitted under the safety car and went straight to hard tyres and are planning to go to the end of this Grand Prix. Behind them, Alvaro Caraton, Ruben Pedreño, Tomic Paragis and Barry Burman, all hunting them down. 2 of them on mediums going to the end, 2 of them on softs going to the end. What a mixture of strategy we have here, as Alvaro Caraton has now got himself into DRS range and is on the back of this group now. Tom Martinez is next up on his radar. Needs to start clearing these cars quickly because he wants to maintain a decent advantage over Paragis and Burman, doesn't he? And he's going for it down the inside!
Wow.
Oh, where did that come from Caraton? I did not expect that. And he dives through, Daniel Ricciardo-esque, on Tom Martinez. We said he didn't want to hang around, and he certainly didn't there. The Spaniard up into 6th place with a super move. And Martinez will be wondering what has just hit him, as here comes Pedreño now onto his tail. What a move from Caraton. And look at Paragis through on Pedreño. What a battle that is.
Oh my word, sensational stuff from Alvaro Caraton, licking the stamp and sending it, but it's not enough to clear Tomic Paragis, who's now going up the inside and towards turn number 1 of Tom Martinez. As does Pedreño, scything his way up the inside, but he gets spun around. That's Pedreño out of contention here. They continue on. Here comes Alvaro Caraton on towards Sam Corby. Down the inside he goes, and he's going to catch Clay as well. Oh, inches from being taken out of his front wing. Paragis off the exit of turn number 3, now closing to the rear of Sam Corby as Burman clears Martinez. It's all kicking off. Oh, they're all battling hammer and tongue. Paragis channeling his inner Alvaro Caraton. He goes up the inside of Corby. I don't know where to look, Andy.
Absolutely incredible. Look at Caraton. Up the inside he goes with Shinaka Clay. What a move from Caraton. He is scything his way through the field. Relentless stuff. And Paragis, intent on sticking with him, now fancies having a look at Clay as well. Round the outside into the penultimate corner. That would be incredible. Off the track he goes, rejoins, and well, now round goes Shinaka Clay into a spin. He tried to hang it out there, and off he goes into a big spin. His race is ruined. Wow, this is crazy.
That's another one out of contention. We saw last lap Pedreño going for a spin. Now it's Clay going around, and unfortunately that was my pick to win. He's out of this race as Paragis is trying to look for a move as Caraton goes up the inside of Parnell, and here comes Paragis off the exit of the corner. He gets Liam Parnell. Now he's just got himself an air between himself and Alvaro Caraton as in towards the corner. There you go. Burman's cleared Liam Parnell as well. Still they continue on here, falling lead of this Grand Prix. Alvaro Carreton leading from Paragic and Burnham as they continue on lap number 24. Alvaro Carreton surely going to be feeling the pressure from the two charging Alpine and McLaren in behind, but as it's a question as to when and where they go for the move, as Longuet and Ronhart both pull into the pit lane. That means the net race lead is no more, because out of the final corners they're going to overtake the drivers in the pit lane, and it's going to be the battle for P1. Here they go now. Here comes Paragic closing to the rear of the Williams, surely in towards turn number 1. He's not going to look for a move up there, but possibly in towards turn number 2 and 3. This is where it's going to be. Here comes Paragic off the exit of the corner. He makes the move stick on Carreton, as does Barry Burnham. Can he go up the inside of Paragic? In Remus corner, he goes down the inside as he cleared Paragic. The switchback move has been made as they continue on this back straightaway here in towards turn number 4. I think Burnham has done it.
That's absolutely sensational from Barry Burnham. Sticks it to Carreton and Paragic. 2 in 1 go. Barry Burnham on debut. Pole position now. Race leader here at the Red Bull Ring with some superb driving. They made mincemeat of the hard runners, and now they've made mincemeat of Alvaro Carreton. It's a two-way fight for victory. Burnham versus Paragic. What can Longuet do? What can Ronhart do? They'll be coming quickly on 4-lap pressure. Soft tyres. What a race. And we crossed the line to 10 laps to go. What a fantastic fight. Paragic then up behind Barry Burnham. Let's take a quick look at that telemetry. You can see it there. 29% for Paragic, 50% for Burnham. He's got plenty to defend with as they now make their way up the hill. Wonderful camera shot here as they go through turn 2, up towards turn 3. Is Paragic going for it? No, but he's tucked right up behind the Iranian driver, but he's not quite close enough to go for the move. Oh, this is going to be a very exciting remaining 10 laps. Here comes Paragic again, gaining on the back of Burnham. Is he going for the inside this time? No, stays put. And he's touched the back of Burnham. That's going to lose Burnham time. Oh, and thankfully he doesn't go off into the gravel, but that's going to both cost him time to the likes of Longuet and Ronhart, who will be charging through the field.
Absolutely, and if these guys keep this up, well, Longuet and Ronhart are going to catch very quickly. But then Alvaro Carreton as well. Surely you got to consider him in this fight. If he can keep with these two leaders, when those tires go off in a few laps' time, he's going to be in prime position to catch these guys. You can't write him off at the moment. He's still within DRS range. And if these guys are backing off on the main straights where they can't drop Carreton, then surely it's just playing into the Spaniard's hands. As off the exit of turn number 1, I think Paragic wants to go for the move this time as he closes to the rear. Oh, Burnham and looks to the right hand side. He goes up the inside. Burnham not fighting that one whatsoever, because he's just saving those tires as best he can to fight at the end of this race. As we also got to watch out for the men in 6th and 7th, Ronhart and Longuet. They're about 3.8 seconds back from Parnell and Corby, but a few laps ago that was about 6 seconds, so these guys on a charge.
Yeah, and Ronhart just passed Longuet there, so that's a big move for him. So let's have a look at the detail now. Well, not the detail, the gap to the leader. There it is there, folks. Thomas Ronhart, Nicholas Longuet, 6 seconds off the lead of this Grand Prix. They're on 4-lap fresher tyres, 5-lap fresher tyres than Paragic and Burnham. Can they get there and mount a challenge for the victory? That is the question. So we'll keep an eye on that gap to the leader. We'll change it back to the interval gap right now, but we will come back and revisit that. Those two are on a charge as Barry Burnham and Paragic continue their race-long fight, coming out of turn number 1 and up the hill once again. Burnham closing, but I don't think he'll be closing or going for a move on this occasion as they go up to the top of the hill. Is he? Maybe he will. Nope, he won't, as Longuet again repasses Ronhart. They are working together as a team to catch the guys in front.
Yeah, that's what you should be doing if you're Paragic and Burnham, who've still got Carreton latching onto their coattails. And if they can't drop him, then in probably just about 2 or 3 laps, he'll be on equal pace, and if not quicker than them. And then he'll be able to try and go for some moves and get himself onto possibly the top step of the podium. But for now, lap number 28, we're about 3 quarters of the way through. It is the end game now, but it is just a question as to who is going to come out on top between these 3 guys. Or are we going to see a surprise entrance from Ronhart or Longuet? Because now they're almost within DRS range of Sam Corby, who admittedly has been dropped by his train at the moment. But any help to go down the straight is going to be any help.
I'm looking at this again. Barry Burnham then, lap 29, thinking about going back through in Parages. Down the inside he goes, easy as you like, retakes the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. Switching lap by lap, these two at the minute, and Parages maybe fancies coming back on the exit. Barry Burnham back into the lead on lap 29. Parages thinks, nope, I'll leave it, as Longuet gets ahead of Sam Corby. Can Ron Hart do the same? They need to clear them quickly if they want to win the race, and Sam Corby has been cleared by Longuet and Ron Hart. Next up, Liam Parnell. I said I'd revisit this gap. There it is. It's only 4 seconds now to the leader of this race for Longuet and Ron Hart. They're going to be there right at the end, Dan. This is brilliant stuff.
Absolutely, it is going to go right down to the wire as we're beginning lap number 30 at the end of this run here. And at this point in the race, the softs are not going to be at their best, and I think Alvaro Carreton knows it, because he is beginning to close and reel those guys in, and we'll see what he can do. As off the exit of turn number 1, will we see another change of hands for the lead, or possible as Williams seeing his way up the inside as Parages closes, and he goes up the inside in towards the braking zone. Is Barry Bowman going to fight this one? I don't think so, but off the exit of the corner, here comes Carreton. He's gone up the inside. Man, oh, he couldn't find an opportunity, but he knows he can make that move eventually.
These three are killing their chances of winning the race at the minute. If they keep fighting like this, Longuet and Ron Hart will be all over them. And speaking of being all over someone, Longuet's all over Parnell, and he's past Parnell, and now here goes Ron Hart. He's through as well, and now they are in position to catch them. Longuet and Ron Hart are coming quickly. You've got to feel if Alvaro Carreton wants to win the race, he has to pass those two right now. Right now. He has to do it now. You would feel at that stage he's got stronger tyres than the two in front of him, but he's not got stronger tyres on the two behind him. If Carreton wants to win, he has to pass Burnham and Parages now. And I think Alvaro Carreton knows that. He realises that this is the crucial moment. Expect him to open up the DRS and use all that battery as he now gains on the back of Burnham and Parages. Carreton needs to make it happen. Burnham down the inside on Parages. Will Carreton try it? No, he won't. He will now. And up the inside he goes on Barry Burnham and gets his move through. He's through on Parages. Carreton can't quite do it though. This is absolutely epic. Parages coming back at Burnham. Carreton maybe through the middle. Parages retakes the lead, and Carreton tries to barge his way alongside Burnham. Can't quite do it. What a race between the two. Round the outside now goes Alvaro Carreton on Barry Burnham, and round goes the Armenian into a spin on debut. Off the track he goes. Dramatic scenes here in WOR. Carreton continues, but you've got to feel his chances of winning the race are gone as well, because here comes Ron Hart and Longuet. Unbelievable.
Oh, heartbreak for the pair of them, that at this point in the race it's looking like Ron Hart is going to be the prime man to win this race, but he still needs to overtake these guys. It's one thing to catch, it is a whole other game to overtake, but he's within 0.5 of a second off the back of Alvaro Carreton. They overtake the AI car of Sahalek, who retired in the pit lane whilst all that was happening. That kind of messed up our timing towers for a little bit, as off the exit of turn number 3 he's within 0.3 of Carreton, and now he's already closing and in the wheel tracks of the Williams, but I don't think this time by he's going to go for the move. So at this point, lap number 32, we're coming up to 4 to go in this one. Ron Hart now looks to be the man who has the best chance to win this race, unless Longuet can do anything about it, because those guys on the same tyre life at the moment, only 6 laps on this set of the softs. They're going to be the fastest out of all these guys until for the remainder of this Grand Prix, as in towards the final 2 corners now. Thomas Ron Hart, he's got 2 men to overtake, an Alpine of Parages and a Williams of Alvaro Carreton off the exit of turn number 10, not using any ERS this time by, because he can't go for the move in towards turn number 1. Alvaro Carreton is also seeing red. He's smelling blood in the water. Disaster for Ron Hart. He's got to fight a 3-second time penalty. That can still be contested. Here comes Alvaro Carreton now down the straight and in towards turn number 3. He makes the move stick on Tomac Parages, but what about Ron Hart in behind, who sees a move up the inside of Parages and in towards the back straight here. They're wheel to wheel as a drag race, but I think Parages is just going to edge him out into the braking zone of turn number 4. Just down the inside of Caraton.
Oh, that is wild stuff there from Parages. That was really pushing the boat out. He can't quite get through. Caraton holds on as Ronhar and Longy are all over the back of them. This has been an astonishing race here so far in WR, and still we've got no idea who's going to win it. Ronhar with the bit between his teeth, all over the back of Parages. Caraton made his move at the crucial moment, and it might just work for him if Parages can keep Ronhar and Longy at bay for a little bit longer. What a strategy it's been from Caraton. What a strategy it's been from Ronhar and Longy as they now get even closer. Just a few miles to go here in the Austrian Grand Prix here in WOR. Round 4 of the season. It has been absolutely sensational. Down the straight they go again. Caraton's a sitting duck. 3 wide they go up the hill. Parages takes the lead. Ronhard up the inside. They trade paint. Banging wheels into turn 3. And I think Ronhard's got it. Meanwhile in the background it's all happening between Longy and Caraton. But Ronhard is through ahead of Parages and into the lead of this race. But he does, crucially, have a 3-second time penalty. What a race!
My oh my, Alvaro Caraton almost went for a spin and then almost collected Longy. That's why I had a huge almost shriek there. It was heart in mouth moment for both of those guys. But now Longy, he's gonna be the man next up to overtake Tomek Parages. He can see the blinking red light on that Alpine car. He can go for the move this time by as they now cross the line to begin lap number 35 of 36 here. The penultimate run, 2 laps to go left in what has certainly been the race of the season. I don't think either of us, Andy, are going to be able to talk all that much in the morning. Parages, with that penalty applied to Ronhar, is still leading this race. Longy has something to say about it though as they close up together in towards turn 3. He looks at the outside line of Remus. Ronhar been spun. Parages got up the inside of him there as Thomas Ronhar without an opportunity to win this race anymore at this point. It is now Parages leading from Longy. Another bit of contact.
Absolutely incredible. There's been too much contact for my liking in this Grand Prix. It has been dramatic. There will be some fallout after this one. Oh, it's been absolutely wild with 3 cars out in the first corner, remember. Statulake was involved in several incidents. Barry Burnham went for a spin. And now Thomas Ronhar has went round as well. We had incidents at the pit lane entry too. It has been a wild race here in WOR tonight. And it's been great to have so many of you tuning in to watch it. It has been a roller coaster of a fight. Parages somehow still leads this race, but he's got Nicholas Longy right behind him, the championship leader, looking to make his move. Alvaro Caraton still thinks he's got a chance on those 19-lap old medium tyres on the final lap of this race here in WOR tonight. Parages leads, but here comes Nicholas Longy breezing past him and into the lead on the final lap of the race. He has surely made his move and is surely now on course to extend his championship lead further. Longy takes the lead. Now, Caraton, can he steal second place from Parages? He tries to go the long way round. It's Brave going round the outside of Parages. Can he make it work? Parages gives him the squeeze. They bang wheels and he'll now have the inside for the next corner. Will Alvaro Caraton, can he get up the inside? He sure can. And that was absolutely epic from Alvaro Caraton. He makes it stick and gets the second place. But it's all about our race leader, Nicholas Longy, who is the championship leader going into this race tonight. And now he's going to extend that lead further. What a race it's been tonight in WOR. Across the final corner comes Nicholas Longy. The freshman sees the checker flag and wins brilliantly here at the Red Bull Ring. What a race, what a win for Nicholas Longy. He beats Caraton in second and Tomek Parages finishes third on the podium in what was an incredible race. Wow. Speak, Dan, because I am out of breath.
Yeah, I think, as I previously mentioned, neither of us are going to be able to talk in the morning. I've got a dentist appointment. How am I going to explain to them that I can't even talk? Because Nicholas Longy did not lead a lap of this Grand Prix aside from one, and it was a lap that mattered. Lap number 36 of 36, he made his move on Tomek Parages for the win of this race. A lot of incidents today, which saw heartbreak, I'd say, for Burnham and Ronhar. What could have been a double podium for the McLaren boys today ended up only being a 4-5 finish for the pair of them. I dread to see what Twitter's going to be looking like tonight, but that brings to a close what has been, I think, most likely, out of the 4 races we've seen, race of the season, Andy.
Well, it's hard to really, isn't it? Because every race we've watched so far has had a story. They've all been exciting. They've all been dramatic. This one certainly was filled with controversy. But what a victory. What a race for Nicolas Longuet. The Frenchman on the top step extends his championship lead. And there's dramatic circumstances, as you say, did not lead a lap till the final one. And that's the one that matters. And he takes the victory here tonight in a thriller at the Red Bull Ring. What a race. Longuet wins it from Alvaro Canaton second, and Tomic Paratis completes the podium. There could be a few penalties handed out after this one, I'll say that much. There was drama everywhere. Barry Burnham finished the race in 4th despite the spin. Thomas Ronhaar finished the race in 5th despite his spin. Liam Parnell in 6th for Red Bull, with Sam Corby a brilliant P7 from 17th of the grid. Parnell came from 18th, so fair play to both of those guys for making that hard tire strategy work. Ruben Pedreño, he came home in P8 with Luke Smith in P9, and Shinaka Clay rounded out the top 10. Miklavsic, he was 11th, Ulas Ozeldrim 12th, Tom Martinez 13th, and Jeffrey Ritchie the last of the finishers. We lost Stachulek, Evans, West, and at the start we lost Weigang, Burnham, and Louis Welsh. What a wild race that was, Dan. Goodness me. Take a breath. Whew, that was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I would take a sip of water at the moment, but I'm completely... There was a slight bit there, but I'm completely out. And I'd imagine you are as well. So, God, what an end to that race. I'd definitely say it is race of the season. I don't know who I want to give driver of the day to. I don't even want to think about that. I'm in shock, really, and I'm going to be checking Twitter as we're doing our interviews just to see. I'd say nuclear fallout is probably at similar levels of what we're going to get tonight.
Yeah, I think we might. I think there's a lot to break down from that race. Incidents aplenty. We had a 3-car pile-up at the start that led to a safety car. We had Barry Burnham in a spin. We had Ronhaar in a spin. We had Shinaka Clay, I think, in a spin as well at one point. We had great racing out there as well. A few skinny moments on pit lane entry. Stachulek was involved in a lot of drama. Yeah, Twitter will be an interesting place tonight, as will the Discord, I think, for the drivers. But what a race, nonetheless, Dan. Let's focus on the positives. We still had some great fights out there, and well done to Nicolas Longuet. He just looked like the coolest cucumber of all the drivers out on the track there today, didn't he? He just bided his time. He was in 4th with just a few laps to go, waited, picked the ideal moment, and won the race. It was just clever, and it was the kind of performance you see from an esports driver with a lot of experience.
Yeah, and that's what we've come to expect from Nicolas Longuet, extending his championship lead by quite some margin over Shinaka Clay, of course, only scoring 1 point in this race. Granted, our results are not final, given that I'd imagine there are a lot of drivers going to be headed into the stewards room. And I'd imagine that we'll see some penalties dished out. But yeah, certainly, Nicolas Longuet, the smartest of them all, did not see him get involved in any incident. So I think if there's one thing to be certain of, he's keeping that win. And I already see him. He's lined up for an interview, so hopefully we get to talk to him very shortly.
Yeah, we'll talk to Nicolas Longuet very shortly indeed. Just a quick mention, folks. Thanks very much, everyone, for tuning in tonight. We had some really good viewing numbers for this race tonight, and well, I'm glad you guys really enjoyed it, and thanks for some very nice comments about the commentary as well. We really appreciate that very much too. But it's now time for everyone in the chat to tell us who your driver of the day is. We're really interested to know who you're going to go for. Be sure to let us know who your driver of the day is, and well, you guys tell us who your driver of the day is. We'll try and drag Nicolas Longuet in here for a chat, and I'll tell you right now that he is actually going to be my driver of the day. I think Nicolas, I think he was very, very strong today. We've got him in here now for a chat. Nicolas, well done. Extended the championship lead. A fantastic victory. What a race. Drama from start to finish. What's your overriding feeling after that one?
Well, hello guys. I haven't talked to you in a while, I guess. Yeah, honestly, I didn't expect that finish. So I kind of bottled quali with the changing conditions. I wasn't too sure what was going on there, so obviously I just mistake by going out too late. But So I started back in the back foot, but it just shows how in these races, like nowadays, anything can happen. And I saw some people had some spins with contacts. I don't really know what happened in front. So I guess that helped me and Thomas out a bit. So yeah, honestly, also really I feel really bad for Thomas at the penultimate lap getting spun out there. He worked with me the whole race. It was thanks to him that I got this race win in the end. And yeah, honestly, I'm very happy the strategy of going long worked out. I didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah, it was a difficult one for us in the commentary box to judge what was going to happen because there was such a mixture of strategies. We had drivers going to the end on hards, drivers going to the end on the mediums, and of course some on the softs, and some pitting earlier, some pitting later. And in the end, it was your strategy that worked out the best. Was there any hint that you thought maybe it would have been a good idea to pit right at the start, or was that never an option? I know Shinaka Clay opted to go for the hard tyre very early on. Did that ever cross your mind, or did you think that was never a good idea?
No, it actually did. When the safety car came out, I thought about, oh, maybe I could gamble and pit for hards and go to the end. I don't know if it would have worked out. It's hard to say because again some contact happened behind. But no, I was pretty sure of going long because since the moment I saw the people pitted for hards, I realized they're gonna go to the end and they were just gonna block the guys that pit early anyway.
Yeah.
So thinking of that, I told Tom, because I was actually talking to Thomas, and I told Thomas, yo, they're gonna get stuck. We need to go long and then just play with the tire advantage in the end. And thankfully he trusted me because he was a bit skeptical. But I convinced him to stay out with me. Otherwise, if I was alone, I don't think that it would have worked.
Yeah, we could tell that you two were working together. We picked up on it on commentary because we could see with the body language of you guys' cars when you were racing. When Barry and Tomic were fighting, it looked a bit more feisty. It looked a bit more as if they were trying to overtake one another and they were both losing time. Whereas with you guys, it was just a breeze by on the straight, no ERS in use, just the DRS and go past. And that helped you out, didn't it? It gained you so much time. You were able to power down the straights, carry a bit more speed without losing any time overtaking.
Yes, exactly. That's what you have to do in those circumstances. It's better to work with the person next to you than to fight him, because otherwise with the ERS management, and especially in this track with long straights, it was very hard to just save ERS if you're in front. So yeah, again, massive thanks to Thomas, and that was a very good teamwork.
And just a quick question, I think it's quite a good question to ask for people that are maybe new to the F1 game or don't league races often or as big an expert as you. Just tell us about the ERS management. How important is that? How much of an effect do you think it has on the races, on the racecraft when you're in a battle? Is it everything, do you think? Is it the most important thing?
I would think so, yeah. I mean, ERS is what pretty much defines the end of the race positions because I think what I notice in people that don't have as much experience, they tend to not be patient enough and just use it very quickly. But I was holding myself back so much the last 5 laps to not touch my ERS button, even though I really wanted to. But at the end, last lap, I was 50-60%, while Tomic was flashing. That means 10 or below. So it's all about patience, because at the end, people are, I don't know, they're just too impatient. They just really want to get on with the race and get in the first places, but that's what screws them over at the end.
And I understand exactly what you're saying because we've seen that from you now. We've seen it in Imola. You waited, patient, and then pounced right at the very end. And I'll be honest, me and Dan thought, nah, he's not going to win from here. And then boom, right at the very end, bang, got the victory. Again today, I'm looking at you, you're fourth with 2-3 laps to go. Don't think he's going to do it. He's just saved the battery, he's just been patient and pounced. So there you go. If you're watching, folks, and you're trying to improve, there's some expert advice from Nicholas Longay. Patience with the ERS is the way forward. But congratulations on the win, Nicholas. You're now the championship leader by an even bigger margin. I'm not sure what the gap is now, but you must be happy about that going forward into the next race.
Yeah, I'm very excited to keep going with the season. Looking forward to the next race. Yeah.
Okay. And Dan, any questions?
Yeah, of course. First off, I'd like to say a really big congratulations to you. Of course, I was in your Twitch chat a little bit earlier on in the evening, just wishing you good luck, and hopefully that helped you because, of course, you took what was a splendid win. But I want to get your opinion on what happened on lap number 35 between Ronhar and Parajish. Of course, I was actually on board with you at the time. It didn't show up in the live broadcast, but I kind of want to get your opinion on Ronhar and Parajish's collision there.
It's hard to say because what I was thinking right there was, okay, I want to put them in a position where they're battling. So I started pushing a little bit at the Tomek on the straight, and Tomek reacted to me and started going for an overtake on Thomas. But I think what happened is Tomek was unsure whether to overtake or try to stay behind, and so it was that like insecure, like indecision that made him like I don't know, just that's what caused the crash in my opinion. I don't think he obviously meant to hit him. I don't think Thomas brake checked him or anything like that. I think it was purely like the situation Tomek was in. He just he couldn't decide what to do, and I think that's what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And coming into next week, we're headed to the Netherlands at Zandvoort. Do you think you can continue your championship charge that you're on at the moment, or do you see any other rivals in particular coming up behind you and trying to snatch that lead from you?
I'm not gonna lie. Zandvoort's gonna be a bit of a damage limitation race. I'm not too good in Zandvoort from past experiences at least. So I'm gonna have to like work a bit more than I did, because otherwise I'm just gonna get absolutely destroyed by the field because they're really fast. But in terms of a championship, I mean obviously I know that Thomas and Barry are like really quick and they're looking to do many more races, and Shanaka obviously, Shanaka, he's been really on form lately in terms of pace and results. So I mean we're only 4 rounds in, guys. Don't put any like anything can happen.
Well, we're piling the pressure on you, Nicholas. We're piling the pressure on.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Well, congratulations on the victory tonight, and best of luck next week, mate. Well done. I'm going to give you driver of the day tonight. I thought your patience was the key to the victory tonight, so well done on that. And who knows, maybe we'll see you again next week. That'll be the plan, but going by what you're saying, you're not feeling too good about the next race in Zandvoort. But nonetheless, congratulations on the win, and we'll hopefully speak to you soon.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Okay, so that was Nicholas Longue then talking to us after that result tonight, and yeah, interesting knowledge there, Dan, about the oh, I better sort that out. 2 seconds. I've not done that right. Camera's not right. That's the wrong button too. I'm still here. What am I doing? Right. I've forgotten to full screen the Discord. But yes, what were we saying there, Dan? Yes, Nicholas Longue giving us a little bit of an insight there as an esports driver and how to use your ERS and show a bit of patience. And that's exactly what he did. And he's made it work twice now. Once in Imola and once here.
Absolutely. Now with 2 wins this season, he is in a really strong position. He's only finished on the podium so far. Of course, didn't race in Belgium. Took the win last time out sorry, no, he didn't take the win. He took the win in Imola, and then he took P3, which is 15 points added to his tally. So he's on a bit of a tear at the moment, is Nicholas Longue, and he's probably in the best position out of anyone at the moment in this season.
Yeah, he is. He's in the best position, and he is the championship leader, and he's not wanting any pressure on him about the championship from us just yet. But congratulations to him nonetheless on that victory. So I've gone Longue driver of the day. Who are you going for, Dan?
It's hard to argue with Nicholas Longue to take driver of the day, but I think there's got to be a special shout out to Thomas Ronhaar, because certainly if he wasn't taking the win of that race, he was taking second before the incident with Paragis there. And I'd imagine I saw in the Discord chat that he is really not happy, and there's stuff that I can't say on stream, given that you know, there are some words you just can't say on a live broadcast, but he's not happy, if you can catch that general gist of it. And I wouldn't be either. I think he was certainly on for a great run, and it was taken away from him in no fault of his own, I'd say.
Yeah, no fault of his own. A shame for Thomas Ronhaar. Of course, he got that result last week, the victory last time out, but he's certainly showing that he's got plenty of pace, and I'm looking forward to seeing how his pace shows up next time out when we go to Zandvoort. But it's certainly going by what Nicholas Longue is saying. It's a track that he's very strong at, Thomas Ronhaar, as well as Barry Burnham. So we'll keep an eye on it, and be sure to join us for that one next time out, 7 PM again on Sunday, the next race as we head to the Netherlands. But I just want to say a big thank you to everyone for tuning in tonight. We smashed a record of viewers tonight in terms of what we've seen so far this season. We're up to nearly 400. We might even have gone beyond 400 when I wasn't looking, which is great stuff. So thanks to everyone for tuning in. We're growing the channel slowly, so if you like what you've seen, leave a like and subscribe to get a little bit more of the WOR action week after week. But again, another great race tonight. And if you don't want to subscribe, there's something wrong with you, surely. It's been epic. It's been awesome. Leave a like, subscribe. Be sure to join us next week for the race as we head to Zandvoort. But that's all for myself. I've been Ginger Andy. He's been Dan Field. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
On his debut, Jarno Uppbeat wins at Spa.
It's Martinez in Montreal. David beats Goliath.
It's a true underdog story. John Evans wins at Mexico.
And it's Super Sam Corby who takes the PlayStation Championship.
FRA Ronhard takes his first WOR Championship. He is your Xbox champion.
And Jake Burnham is a two-time WOR champion.
Stop it! Around the outside operating line shadow is contact again. Burnham is around.
Bethany, surely is going to win here at Abu Dhabi. He does.
16 races across 5 continents. From Brazil to Belgium and Bahrain to Britain. Soon this story starts. Across 3 platforms, hundreds will begin the quest. The quest in search of glory and the right to be called a WOR champion. Lights out, and we're racing in Season 12.